Welcome to episode 13 of the Switchmania Playcast.
Lucky 13.
Classics.
I think we're getting sillier as we go on.
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm getting any sillier. I think it's just continuing
That's true.
on the line. So, we got any feedback from the last episode?
Yes. So I seem to get pretty consistent feedback from the same group of people, which is always welcoming. And it comes from the Facebook group. But just again, they've just been enjoying the content that we're doing. They're finding it to be fun and they're playing games that they have overlooked, just like I have before even we started this show. So I like that. I mean, I like that we're kind of introducing people to new games, even though they came out possibly a while ago, like this one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool just seeing all the feedback of, yeah, I need to play this, and finally
Hmm.
dusting the game off and giving it a try. And, even if people like add it to their rotation, it's a win for the Switch itself, but also for us, so we got more to chat about.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's coincidental, but a lot of the games that we're picking are great pick up and play games. And
Yeah.
we'll get into it with this one, but it's just another game where I feel like I could jump back into in a couple months and still find it like super enjoyable and not have to worry about going back to the beginning of it. And I like that. I feel like I don't know if that's just lots of games and we're just, randomly picking them, but it's working out well for me because, I'm a completionist and I want to finish all the games. But now that, we just don't have the time to, it's nice to know that these are games that I could easily, I feel, go back into.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pick up and play aspect of the Switch itself really lends itself to a lot of games that, support drop in, drop out features.
Hmm.
And I mean, that'll probably continue as we go, but it'll be interesting to see if we ever pick up a massive game and how it fares.
Right.
So, I got a little bit of a story that I alluded to JP over the weekend, and I think it's time to go into a little bit of detail on it.
I have been waiting patiently.
There's a couple things that I've been making JP wait on this week, so kind of do that, and I'm like, oh, you just have to wait till the playcast.
Uh-huh.
Now is time. So
Now we're here.
So last weekend I was at Classic Game Fest in Austin,
Hmm.
and I definitely have to thank everybody that came by my booth, chatted me up. It was really awesome. Tons and tons of positive feedback on book quality and the Switchmania Playcast.
Awesome.
So the story is that one listener came up and she said, "Hey, so I was listening to the Playcast last week and I noticed that you said you didn't have a copy of Tiny Troopers." And so she's like, "I brought you a copy of Tiny Troopers."
What? Wow.
So
That's
huge
awesome.
shout out to Lizette Martinez, which we definitely have seen on comments
Yeah,
for
thank
the
you, Lizette. That's awesome.
Playcast. And thank you for your generous donation to the Switchmania Playcast. I definitely did not have a copy of Tiny Troopers, and
Now you do.
now I do.
And
Mhm.
and that's what I like about the Switch is like with my collection, I feel like so many of the games aren't just, I go to the store and buy them. I'm starting to find that I have stories behind how I got them or, just something about the game, talking with the developer or publisher. And now you have Tiny Troopers and you have a meaning behind it now. That's like a special copy. It's not just one that, you went to Walmart and found or somebody shipped to you, but it actually has a nice story behind it. And that's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, and that makes it like, well, never getting rid of that copy of that game ever.
Exactly.
Even if I got out of the Switch, I would hold on to every game that has meaning to it. Like stuff like
Hmm.
that where it has a story is what builds nostalgia.
Yep.
And believe you me, that story will go into a future Switch collector book too. Like it's gonna be crazy. That being said, we definitely appreciate all the ratings on iTunes, leaving feedback about the playcast. It definitely helps, us pop up. I think we're now 7th or 8th if you type in Nintendo Switch, we're like the 7th or 8th podcast that comes up, which is awesome
that's awesome.
after the 13th episode now. That's amazing because most of those podcasts are in the hundreds of episodes.
Wow.
Yeah. So
No, that means a lot. And not to jump back, but it's funny you mentioned Lizette. She actually reached out to me right after our episode last week. She was the first one to leave feedback. And you remember we had a contest for anyone who would leave us feedback.
Oh, I know. She showed me at the convention, and I go, "Why didn't you tell me you're gonna be here? I would have brought the case with me. I would have literally brought it with me and could have given it to her in person." I was like, man.
It's a small world. And she said, I've ordered State of Mind already because of us.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that because, it's funny. It's just there's so many games for the Switch, and not even just on the eShop, but just physical releases that you can easily either buy and just put on the shelf and say, I'll get to it later, or you may just miss it completely. And it's great that, we're able to jump back and really focus on a game each week from anywhere in the Switch lifecycle already. And it could be somebody's first time playing it or even first time knowing about it. And I think that's great. And I did see a few people saying that they're picking it up or it's on their wish list now. And hopefully more people got a chance to play it in the last week. And now after we talk about, Tiny Barbarian, depending on how you thought about it, maybe more people are going to be playing this one as well.
Well, I think it's time to delve in, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's jump into Tiny Barbarian DX, our game of the week. Let's go ahead and read the summary. So the summary is: steel yourself for a relentless display of might and muscle, of brawn and bravery, of magic and mayhem. Can you cleave your enemies' skulls, plunder all the booty, and flex to impress the barbarian of your dreams? Inspired by heroic fantasy fiction, Tiny Barbarian DX combines engaging 2D platform action and combo-based hack-and-slash combat with retro-style pixel art and a loincloth-stirring chiptune soundtrack. I love I'm going to start reading the Metacritic summaries like every time because it's ridiculous. The source was from Nintendo's website this time. And it has a Metascore of 77, so it has a 7.7, which is generally favorable throughout. All the reviews that I tend to see from critics and users, though, is usually in the 8s or 9s, but it averages out to a 7.7, so pretty cool. So first of all, how far were we able to get in Tiny Barbarian DX? I got a bit of a story. So
you could start.
So I mentioned before that I had not beaten the game or whatever for like when I played it before. And so like in 2017, I bought the game when it was released on launch day. Had all the goodies with it and everything, which we'll go over in detail. But basically, like I was playing it and I got to this wizard witch battle. And where you have to save the girl. And I got through, played it like tons and tons of times, kept dying. And eventually I beat her. And my daughter wanted to play something on the Switch. And this is before she was actually playing the Switch. So I'm like, okay, we'll play the Switch. I didn't realize that it didn't go to a checkpoint.
Oh.
So it started me right before the battle again. When I booted up the next time, I'm like, all right, I'm done for a while. And that was the last time I played it for the playcast.
Yep.
That being said, that battle was right before you grab your girl, go on the cats, and ride out. That's just the end of episode 1. And there's 5 episodes. Technically 4 full ones and 1 bonus mini episode. But still, that was only the end of episode 1 of Tiny Barbarian DX. And that's a full-fledged, like, retro-style NES or Super Nintendo game. Like, that one episode is like a full retro gaming experience.
Yeah, after you had posted on the Facebook group or that you were playing it, or maybe even on your personal page, and I was like, that's only the first level? Because I was playing and I'm just like, this game doesn't seem as long as I thought. You have the map as you beat each sub level, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting to the end.
Goblins, ghouls, and ghosts.
Yeah. I'm getting to the end, and I'm thinking like, oh, like everyone was talking about how hard this game was, and I didn't think it was that bad. It seemed kind of short. And then when I saw your screenshot and you had beaten the first level, and you were like, oh, that's only the first one. There's still like three more. I'm
Episode
thinking to
one.
myself like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like, I was having a hard enough time getting through the first one, and I felt so accomplished, and I was like, oh, I'm just at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and I will have to say that for like a normal gamer, the first episode's great. First
Mm-hmm.
episode is like a delve into like classic NES hard gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Now 2, 3, 4, 5 is when they turn up the difficulty a lot. The difficulty spikes.
Oh God.
That being said, I am only in the beginning of episode 2.
Oh,
I
re-
got past the boulder chase and everything.
wow.
However, I did
Uh-huh.
something with this one that I had to because the music's so awesome and everything.
Yeah.
And that being said, Jeff Ball, the musician, the chiptune artist,
Mm-hmm.
we did interview him like a year ago on VGBS Gaming Podcast back in the day, on my old podcast. So we
Mm-hmm.
do have an interview with him. Really awesome dude. Super, super cool. Anyways, I was watching on YouTube a no death speed run of it, and it's like 3 hours
Oh my God.
with the no death speed run. But the music was so amazing. I was watching it in stints. So I got a lot of cool feedback from what I was able to watch, but I was able to at least beat the first episode. So how far did you get?
I'm actually surprised. I think this may be the first time in 13 episodes where I got farther than you.
Yeah.
So I was able to get to the, I guess it's like right before the end, right before the last section of chapter 2.
Okay.
So in chapter 2, they have an homage to Super Mario 3. Actually, was it already there? I don't know yet. But pretty much I'm on the bees, and it's a side-scrolling level
Oh, I got past the
where,
bees part.
yeah, so I, hmm. Well, if you're only at the beginning of chapter 2, though, I'm not
That is the
sure.
beginning of chapter 2 still. There's like 3 boss fights or something still in chapter 2.
Well, I beat the Donkey Kongish sub-boss
Ah, you're
battle.
the second bees part. Okay, I got
Yes,
past the
yes, yes,
first
yes.
bees part. There's
Yes,
multiple bees part. You get to
yeah,
write on bees, everyone.
yes, you do. And you know what? It makes so much sense now when I look at the keychain that's included with the physical first version, where he's riding a bee,
Sounds
and
like
I'm
you're
like, I have no
unraveling a
idea.
diaper when you do that, by the way, on the camera. It's like
Oh, sorry. Whoopsie. I was taking it out, and it's a little
diaper
plastic.
crumble.
So it's about like 4 screens worth of you going left to right with the bees as the screen is moving, and I just beat the last screen of that before the checkpoint. I want to make sure I got to a checkpoint.
Uh-huh.
So that's where I'm at right now, and I still want to go through it. I mean, I'm gonna hopefully try and beat the second level tonight before I go to bed. But yeah, it's getting harder and harder for me.
Yeah, and I mean the thing that I like is the checkpoint mentality kind of
Hmm.
adds to the appeal because if you keep at it, eventually you'll get to the next checkpoint. You learn the patterns for that section
Yes.
and go through and get to the next checkpoint. And my thing was is I realized with that many episodes that I wasn't gonna have enough time to beat everything, and I wanted
Hmm.
to catch as many things as I could.
Hmm.
So I mean, with the platforming, so there's you have your traditional platforming levels. You have forced scrolling levels where the screen moves on its own.
Hmm.
You have beast riding modes. You ride a cat or ride a bee or some other stuff later in the game. And I mean, there's just lots and lots of different vine hanging, platforming. So what references did you see? You said Super Mario 3. You actually said Mario 3, but
I'm going to.
what was the Mario reference that you saw?
Yeah, so I talked with, as you know, we talked with the developer, and now I'm
Yep,
trying to think
yep. Don't spill
if
the beans on the developer
no,
part.
nope, not going to. But I don't know now if I read what he wrote and I'm thinking that was the side scrolling because I thought that was like the airship level. And then he kind of also made a reference to that. So I wasn't sure if that's what he was talking about with the bees going left to right and trying to dodge because at one point you have the monkeys throwing like coconuts at you. so it's kind of like the cannons shooting at you. So I noticed
Maybe.
that.
You
I
mentioned
also,
Donkey Kong with
yeah.
the monkey.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the boss battle was 2 stages, and the first stage was just classic Donkey Kong. You're trying to get up the different platforms with the barrels rolling down, but at the same time you have these monkeys also jumping around trying to hit you. So that I clearly noticed. And then there's just
so I got a
yeah,
bunch.
yeah, you can go.
So Pitfall. There's a bunch of swinging vines
Yep.
throughout levels. So definitely Pitfall. There's Castlevania Wall Meat.
Hmm.
So you can open up, get meat out of the wall. So there's definitely Castlevania references. Episode 3 is like a complete Castlevania representation where like there's the whole gate at the beginning and everything.
Hmm.
And that's actually like the first part of that section has a lot of manipulation of going before, in front of, and behind the gate. There's the golden axe gnomes that you hit to get money and energy from. So
Yep.
that's like from Golden Axe. There's a whole like part of like Shinobi 3 where you're going down a waterfall, and there's
Hmm.
definitely a representation of Shinobi 3. There's a part where you're going up a castle in episode 3, and it's definitely like reminds me of Castilian. I don't know if you played Castilian on the NES.
No.
It's also called Tower Turmoil on the Atari 7800, but it's like, and also could go to. There's also a section on Battletoads where like so literally you have this a cylinder that moves around and you have to jump on from platform to platform, and there's enemies that attack you. So there's like it's like Stillion and Battletoads combination for that, which is really cool.
Nice.
My favorite part though, it's later and I can't wait to get to it, but eventually the Tiny Barbarian gets captured, and you get to play as Barbarina. You get to
Oh,
play as
that's
the girl, and she has this big
nice.
old mech suit. She jumps out of it, and you have a gun, and you run around with a gun and get to shoot all the enemies.
Oh my, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and it goes completely futuristic, and everything's robots, and there's like literally an enemy that comes and does a Sonic and Knuckles reference where Knuckles is laughing and drops you down. That happens. There's more. There's Strider references with a whole like audience watching as you fight a battle.
Hmm.
Literally that same one that drops you down attacks you almost like the Black Queen from Battletoads. Like it's like insane, and like there's so many references, and there's even more because like the box art from the Switch release
Hmm.
is actually drawn by the same artist who did Adventure Island on the NES.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
did not know that.
and it's classic because he drew the hair blonde when Tiny Barbarian doesn't have blonde hair. But that's a classic NES trope too. But yeah, if you look at the Barbarina, she has the
Hmm.
same look as the girl you save in Adventure Island. So
Wow.
yeah, it's the same artist. Like they got him in Japan to do the art, and I think I could be wrong, but I think it's exclusively for the Nicalis Switch release. So there was a different art for the previous releases that they
Oh,
did.
wow.
So it's really cool. It looks awesome. It's all cartoonish.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I love the reverse cover for it.
And I will absolutely say that like near the end you get to play as both the Barbarian and Barbarina, and like there's you get to ride on the back of a mech, and it's like there's some it gets super insane and complex, and I guarantee you I'm the max is gonna be episode 3 for me skill wise, like because
Hmm.
it gets intense. There's lots of stuff. I do have some techniques though that keys to success for Tiny Barbarian.
Please
um,
share.
so basically, this is a game that you're gonna want to take on bits at a time until you learn every enemy pattern. So basically,
Hmm.
like all the enemies, you gotta know what they're gonna do. And in order to do that, it's gonna take a little trial and error. But the main thing you want to do is you're gonna want to take out anything that shoots at you first. So if you have like a little like enemy that just shoots lasers at you or anything, that's the first thing you want to take out in the level. So as soon as you come to it, you see something that shoots, you get it. Get rid of
Hmm.
it. The second thing is all those enemies with a sporadic movement.
Hmm.
Anything that might be super difficult that you're going to want to take out. Later on, there's some really super difficult enemies that like require a lot of effort to take out. Like you bounce off them and stuff like that. Some of those, it's better to just leave them alone and move on, especially if they don't shoot at you, or they just shoot like a stationary thing that only hits like a general radius around them. Just move on, learn their pattern, move on, and get to the next section, because like the key is minimizing damage and then seeing where the cracks are in the level where you can get your wall meat so you can progress to the next save point. There's also a way to hack the gameplay, because at Classic Game Fest on Friday night, my buddy Ryan, who's a pixel art painter, we were playing 2-player Tiny Barbarian on his TV. So playing cooperatively is awesome. There's a way to manipulate the gameplay mechanics, though, to kind of not really cheat the system, but like maximize your abilities to progress. So basically, you have both of your characters have a life bar, right? Just like normal. So as you go through, if one character's dying, instead of like giving him the wall meat or giving him the energy, and you possibly only, not replenishing yours, if they're about to die, let them die, and then the next screen they come back with full health. If they have 1 health when they go to the next screen, they have 1 health on the next screen. So if they're dead, they come back to life, though. So if it's one of those things where we're always seeing where we were, and like if I only had 1 health left, I'd just kill myself, and then he would jump to the next screen, I'd come back with full health. And so unless both players die, that's the only way you restart, is if both players die. So you continue.
That's a good tip.
So if you have 2 skilled players, you could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, this game sounds like when you get to the later stages, you're going to want to have somebody jump in with you.
The only thing is, though, is that having a second player, it does get chaotic at times. Like I noticed a few times where we were both going off to run, and I was like watching him, and I just like fell off and died. Like, ah. And you can do the classic steal a health pellet from your partner too.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so like basically, if you're on an end boss and you need extra firepower and they're not going to come back to life, you can press the button and come back to life and have 1 health point, and you steal one from your teammate, though. So it's funny, but like, I mean, but definitely the couch co-op way is definitely the way to fly with Tiny Barbarian. And it's awesome. Like, to me, with the combination of the graphics having like a 16 to 32-bit style, the beautiful backgrounds, multiple parallax scrolling, the music is adrenaline pumping retro style. Like, it's crazy too, because as you go through like the Castlevania level, the futuristic level, like it all has a unique sound, but it all feels like it fits together as one like soundtrack. Really crazy. Like, they're all distinct for what they are, like for all the different sections, but then it absolutely goes together.
Yeah, this is one that I wish had come with a soundtrack, because I just fell in love with the music so much as I was playing, and it just fit perfectly with the game.
That being said, I do know that Jeff Ball does have the whole albums available on Bandcamp.
Oh, okay.
To be able to listen to. I wish that we got this on vinyl. Like, but each like episode has its own soundtrack too. So it'd be like a 5 vinyl set or something ridiculous. Like, it would be amazing though. Like having a box set of Tiny Barbarian DX. Like,
is I Am 8-Bit listening to this?
Maybe they
are. Should be. They should be.
Because it would absolutely be a treasure to have Tiny Barbarian DX. Like, this is an amazing soundtrack. And I know I mentioned it to you. I think it might have been offline, but like Jeff Ball also did music for like Steven Universe. So like nice. he's a pretty prolific musician. Like, And it shows. Like, it's awesome just seeing
Oh yeah.
everything that he's able to accomplish here with us. So what else do you have from your playthrough?
For me personally, a lot of what you said, I thought the small bursts were really good for playing. But what's funny is that even though I would say like, oh, I'm just gonna play, for 10, 15 minutes, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour would go by just because of that checkpoint mentality. It's just I want to get to that next screen, make sure that, I save my progress. But then once you get to it, you're like, you know what? I really enjoyed that last level, swinging through the vines or trying to just time your jump right. And then I go to the next one, I'm like, okay, well, what mechanics are they gonna add now that may not have been in the previous stages? So I start playing through that, and it's funny. A lot of times I would have one health left, and I would think to myself like, okay, should I keep going, or I know I'm just near the beginning of that screen. Maybe I should just die and just start again. And you're right, like learning the patterns was so important. So even with one health, I would still try and go as far as I could just to see, okay, what should I be anticipating moving forward? So that way, when I respawn, I knew already what to expect. And it was a good challenge just for myself. Like as I got low on the health, I'm like, all right, well, let's see how far I can go, knowing that I'm probably not going to make it. And sometimes I did make it through the screen, like just by sheer luck, it just worked out. I made that jump just right, and then I keep going, and I loved it. There's a lot of variety in the game, and your first thought, I know some people have commented, and we'll read those later, is that you look at the graphics, right? They're old school graphics, and you're like, all right, like, maybe this isn't my kind of style. But I tell you, like, at first I was a little put off by the graphics, and it's perfect. I mean, for this game, it was absolutely perfect, and I thought the controls were spot on, and you really need to get really good at timing
Yeah.
and learning the pattern. And I think once you get that, it just becomes a very fun game because yeah, you're gonna die, but to me, it wasn't like for some reason it wasn't like Cuphead where I knew I was just gonna die so much. I mean, everyone dies in that game, and that's pretty much what it's known for is just how hard it is. But this was challenging, at least in the first stage, the first level, and then most of level two. But it was challenging, but it was so fun. And
Yeah.
like dying was just like, all right, like I made it to here. I'm gonna see how much further I can get. And it was just the graphics are just perfect. I mean, I think I just said that, but they really are. It's just so vibrant, right? And it works so well. And
Well, there's
then
so
the
much
music.
variety behind all of the
Yeah.
different like environments that is shown off, and I mean, you've only seen through the second world, and like it goes deeper and deeper down.
Hmm.
Like you go from Egyptian in the first episode to the jungles in the second, and then it goes to
Yep.
Castlevania, and then it goes to futuristic, and then the fifth one's like a little mini one of like a ghost yard, and it's like super cool though.
And I think one thing we didn't touch upon is as soon as you turn on the game,
Oh yeah.
it scrolls up and you're already fighting. You're on top of like a mountain, or I don't even know if it's a mountain, but we can call it a mountain. And you just have this wave after wave of enemies, and the whole idea is just how long can you survive? And that does become an option because once you die, the title screen comes up, and then you start the game, but you can go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's called versus horde mode.
Yep.
And I
It
thought it
keeps
was
track of your score.
yeah, and it was so much fun. And I remember when I first turned the game on, I was like, okay, I lasted maybe like 10, 15 seconds. And then after playing through most of the second level and then starting up the game again, I go, oh, I lasted like a few minutes. I'm getting better at this. And it's funny because the enemies start out just like the basic grunts, and then the next wave of enemies come, and that's where I died. So I didn't make it too much further, but I like that. It's just it starts the game off really fun, I thought.
Absolutely. So
And
there is one thing we could do with this game that we could start with any of the older games.
yes.
And like I have already written my review for the Switch Collector book, and I could read the Tiny Barbarian DX review for it. Like
Let's do it.
I
We'll start giving
could
a tease of what to expect in the book.
exactly. So basically with this one, it was released in October 10th of 2017. So it's almost nearing its second year being released. Developed by Star Quill Games and published by Nicalis. So Tiny Barbarian DX is a homage to the action platforming games of old, chock full of references to older gaming franchises and even a few classic films. This game hits all the right notes when it comes to retro-inspired phenomena. You initially play as the titular hero rescuing the damsel in distress. However, the roles eventually reverse. There are multiple modes here, with 2 different playable characters and rideable beasts, and things are constantly evolving until you eventually need to prove your worth as a gamer, showing true mastery of this game. That's the intro paragraph. The retro-inspired graphics are breathtaking and encapsulate what reimagining a classic style should feel like. From its barbarian roots with lush backgrounds to the Tron-inspired futuristic levels that thrust the player into the unknown, the graphics are perfection. The music by Jeff Ball is something to behold as well, as it fits each and every scene perfectly, while still keeping a unified style throughout the entirety of the game. This is a soundtrack that is screaming for a full album release on vinyl. The gameplay is spot on, and that is a good thing since the action is fast and furious throughout the entirety of the game. Tiny Barbarian DX offers 4 massive chapters, each with their own story, which is a throwback to the movie serials of old. The first chapter is what I would call palatable. However, after that, the kid gloves are off and the difficulty slowly wraps up to the point that only true platforming masters will survive. So, like, I go into depth on this thing. I'm also checking to see if I spell things correctly. The key to success in Tiny Barbarian DX is being able to compartmentalize each section by enemy type, taking out the shooting enemies first, then any with sporadic movements. This clears out a path that makes things somewhat doable. That is definitely easier said than done. However, it is rewarding when you successfully progress to each new section. Even though there is a feeling of quote-unquote Nintendo hard with this game, there are checkpoints that are frequent enough to make continual progress possible. This game will test your skills and then some, and it is nice to see some modern additions. Then the summary paragraph, Tiny Barbarian DX is how you do a retro-style game in a modern era. It has tons of graphical polish, excellent level design, tight gameplay, and an amazing soundtrack. This game is extremely difficult, however, still doable thanks to the progression system. Even the physical release of this game harkens back to older game releases with goodies included in the launch, showing that Nicholas truly gets it when it comes to putting out games. This game is the most known for old school players. And then underneath that, I have Look What Comes Inside promo, which shows the free chibi PVC keychain that you were talking about, where Tiny Barbarian's riding the bee, and then the tiny loincloth, and they crossed it out and put microfiber pouch.
Microfiber pouch? I don't have that.
Yeah, there's a microfiber pouch that comes with it. It's a little brown loincloth looking pouch.
Oh, the pouch that has the keychain in it.
Yeah, the microfiber brown
yes.
pouch.
Okay. Sorry, thinking microfiber cloth. Okay, my bad.
Tiny loincloth.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the manual. As you're reading that, I took out the manual and it's just beautiful.
Oh yeah,
I mean
it's like a full NES style manual. Like,
yeah,
it's amazing.
It is about 32 pages long. It starts off with the official seal of Nicalis, seal of quality, like the seal of Nintendo, and then it's just so much. I mean, Tablecon, it's fully colored. Starts off with a comic strip of the intro that leads right into the very first screen of the actual game, where your hero's tied up. And then it just has so many tips and tricks and moves. And, they really helped reading this because I would not have thought to do certain attacks early on. And just looking through here going like, oh, okay, if I press this and that, I can, do an uppercut. I can do a body slam. And it really helped. And, the artwork inside the manual is just, it's very cartoony. It's very cute. But it's so detailed. I mean, it's just great. And it's funny you're talking about the artist, but in the back of the book it says making the cover, and it talks about it, and it's none other than Tsutsumu Matsushita, and he's the beloved cover artist of Famitsu, Japan's weekly video game magazine. Recently celebrated his 40th year as a professional illustrator and character designer. And I think that's awesome. And you're right, like it mentions Adventure Island for the NES and TurboGrafx 16, but it's just great. And he says the magazine has continued for more than 30 years. So even if I produced only one cover each month, I think I would have drawn nearly 400 by now.
So that being said, when we mentioned Adventure Island, we do need to explain that it's not the U.S. Adventure Island cover, that crazy one. It's actually the one that's called Adventure Island Classic. When you look online, that one has a big cartoonish look to the box art. And then, as you mentioned, TurboGrafx 16 also, it's a different art, but it's also the same artist that was there for Adventure Island. But yeah, it's not that crazy U.S. looking one. That's kind of weird. Definitely not that one.
Yeah, but beautiful instruction booklet, and more games need this.
Oh,
It's just, it's just that little touch that just makes the case more fuller. And you know what? They have those clips inside the Switch cases. I mean, it's made for that.
I mean, it's absolutely made for that, and where it disappoints me every time I open up a new game where there's no printing on the inside of the inside of the case. There's no manual. It's why I have some ideas that we could talk about at the end of the cast that we've been messing around with. We can mention it, and if we forget to, y'all can comment and remind us, and we'll talk about it next week. But hopefully, we remember to talk about it this week.
Good.
So I think we probably, before we get to the listener feedback, let's go ahead, and we actually were in contact with Star Quail Games, and each of us asked them a question, or a bunch of questions.
Oh yeah, a bunch of questions.
I sent JP mine, so hopefully he didn't double tap.
You're gonna go first, so I definitely will.
So basically, my questions were, what were your retro inspirations behind the game? And I said, I have my ideas, which we already talked about my ideas on the cast. I asked, how has the physical Switch version been different for you than the other versions out there? And is there any chance of a sequel or another retro follow-up? So when it comes to the inspirations behind the game, he said there are some very specific retro inspirations, especially games like Shinobi 3, and other Genesis games, especially those by Treasure, which include Gunstar Heroes, Dynamite Heading, etc., which are kind of the source of where a lot of my personal taste in games come from. And you can absolutely tell a lot of those Treasure games, especially like Gunstar Heroes, where it's like fast and frantic, especially Episode 4. There's a lot of comparisons I could draw to Gunstar Heroes. That makes sense. And he said he tried to make a game that had a similar feel and rhythm to Treasure. The elevator in Episode 1 is definitely an homage to a certain scene in Shinobi 3, but I tried to not be too overt with those references. Other scenes are less direct inspiration and more like gags that I thought were funny, like the start of Episode 3, putting you in front of a gate like in Castlevania, but you're stuck there until you figure out how to get past the fence yourself. So like I love the retro inspirations, and it's really cool. There's also just a general retro barbarian vibe that I really think gels with classic games in general. I wanted to try to capture some of the feel of the pulpy Clonan sword and sorcery short story in video game form. So he wrote Clonan, probably meant Conan, but but yeah, it's just classic how many references there were. So for the physical version for the Switch, he basically said didn't have much to do with the Switch version directly, besides for helping to debug it. Nicholas handled all that magic. I'd say the big difference is just that it exists at all in a physical space on store shelves. I always thought of it as my weird little barbarian game. So big kudos to Nicholas for making it so much more available and quote-unquote present in the world. I mean, talking to a lot of developers, it's like been their dream to have a game on like a Nintendo console, and it's really cool to see. Like, also they're just like completely blown away that their game is on a shelf. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it's not even sorry, not to interrupt. It's not even a limited release. This was a full-blown retail release in stores on the shelves, and I'm happy for that.
And then when talking about a sequel, I've been thinking on and off about a sequel even before it was done. But I have a bunch of other ideas that I like to explore, and I'm still figuring out what's next. I started some things, but nothing's ready to be quote unquote the next big project yet. I love retro games and working in pixel art, so whatever comes next will definitely have some similarities.
Nice.
And he also said, because Tiny Barbarian is obviously from 2017, he said that he will definitely be open to doing a developer interview for the book. So expect
all right.
expect him to be in the Switch Collector Volume 1, which is amazing.
Oh, that's great.
And we do have something to unveil about the Switch Collector at the end that JP doesn't even know about, so it's great.
You always seem to surprise me on these episodes.
That's right. So what questions did you ask him?
Sure. So my questions were similar, a little bit different, but he did expand on some of the topics that he spoke to you about. So I spoke with Michael Stearns, and he is the main guy behind the game, part of Starquell Games. He was helped by Jeff Ball, who did the music and sound, and Daniel Roth, who built the game engine and some tools used. So the first question I asked, I said, on the back of the physical case, it stated that there is a clever homage to a classic video game in practically every scene. Could you tell us about how many in total there were? And as a follow-up, are there any homages that no one has figured out that you're aware of? So he said practically every scene is definitely an exaggeration. There's also the difference I mentioned, like this thing an homage, or is this just a good idea that I stole or was influenced by like the obvious Medusa head behavior of the bad enemies? So he said, I'm going to count them and I'm just going to list them. So I don't know if this was published anywhere else aside from maybe just people playing the game, but straight from Michael himself, we're going to go episode by episode, and he pretty much gave me like those references. And
let's see if I pulled any or I made some up too.
You did. As you were talking, you definitely touched upon a good number of them. And for me, just haven't played those classic games or haven't played them in a long time, I didn't easily spot them, but here we go. Episode 1. The first boss, the city gate, is clearly a boss from Contra.
Nice.
The elevator is Shinobi 3.
Yep.
The ending is an obvious guy standing on a cliff while a building explodes in the background, so kind of a Mega Man Castlevania thing there.
Yep.
Episode 2, the gorilla boss is a clear Donkey Kong reference, but fun fact, also inspired by a scene in the Conan story, Jewels of Gwalor, which had a scene that I specifically thought if this were adapted to a video game, it would just be Donkey Kong. The Force Scroll airship is inspired by the Mario 3 airships.
Mario.
You get me every time. You make me so self-conscious. We're going to be 70 episodes in, and I'm still going to be doing this.
Like the Mario. That's amazing.
So episode 3, the gate at the start is a riff on the gate at the start of Castlevania. This whole episode has a strong Castlevania vibe, and the first area in particular was meant to feel a bit like the first area in Super Castlevania or Rondo of Blood, including the boss being a hairy four-legged animal, a boar in this case. The flip over the fence move is a different mechanic, but totally cribbed from Revenge of Shinobi, and there's one stage in particular that borrows its layout heavily from one of those stages. The guys chucking axes also deliberately follow the same attack pattern as the grenade-chucking enemies in Revenge, and that's part of why there are attack dogs too. Yeah. The ascent up the chains and the tower being chained to the ground below is Sonic CD.
Nice.
Lots of games have spinning towers, but I was thinking specifically of Battletoads and Dynamite Heidi when I made this one.
Yeah, Battletoads, but the Castilian though, that was like the originator of all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Episode 4. Well, the robot, haha. It's not super close to anything, but I always wanted to make a game like Cybernator Assault Suits Vulcan, but never got it going, so that robot owes a lot to those games, even though he handles quite differently. Jeff also made a theme song for him that I felt was just too close, ha ha ha. I believe it's a bonus track in the album. We didn't put it in the game, though.
Jeff actually mentioned that during our interview that there was a bonus track on episode 4.
The Space Queen boss is very similar to the Dark Queen in Battletoads, including a tornado attack.
Yeah.
And here we go. The best way to hurt her is to use the dash sword combo, which has a very similar effect as the Battletoads ramming attack. Similarly, it's effective on the Dark Queen. Also, the first boss in episode 4 borrows an attack from Han in Guardian Heroes and was built with a kind of Shada-clone mindset, though he looks nothing like those characters. He tries to goad you into attacking him by jumping over his fireball attacks and punishes you with a dragon punch.
Uh-huh.
So those are the ones I consider the most deliberate anyway. It's a game that in general couldn't exist without the influence of retro games, though, so I'm sure there's an argument to be made for others. So he said 14, maybe 15. And I thought that was great. I mean, he really went into it. And, going back now, I really want to play the games that these originated from, or, where he took the concepts from, just to kind of see the comparison. But I think that's great that he kind of went over them. And now for people playing that may have played the NES games or those old games,
Like me.
well, like you, will be more alert to them when they come up. So the next question I asked was, what was it like to partner with Nicalis to release this? So he said that they actually contacted him about publishing the game on consoles when the game was still very early. They saw the Kickstarter and were very interested, but he wasn't ready to make that kind of commitment then. But they built up a relationship with him over time. So when he felt like was the end was in sight, he went straight to them without even contacting anyone else. They helped to finance episode 4. He was running out of steam at that point and handled all the porting, and he helped with the debugging, as you mentioned. So then I said, how long was the development of Tiny Barbarians, and what was the most challenging aspect to creating the game? So the game started in 2012, so it was about 5 years. It was successful enough with the Kickstarter that I was able to work on it full-time from home, and honestly, that's probably the biggest challenge. Learning to function in that kind of environment and be totally self-motivated is kind of tough. I had worked on my own before, but on smaller projects, or like I mentioned the programmer Daniel before, in the past we'd worked together on projects, like even sharing a space. But for this one, it was up to me to keep me motivated, sharing a workspace, that is. And more recently, his wife had begun telecommuting, and even though her work has nothing to do with his, it's been really helpful to just have someone else there. The social effect of someone else working is very helpful to him. So then I also said, are you working on a current project? And if so, could you share any updates? So mainly he's been working on some projects for others that are under NDA for now, although there is one that's about to come out, Undead Darlings by Mr. Tired. It's basically the opposite of Tiny Barbarian, a visual novel plus dungeon crawler hybrid. He helped he helped code their VN engine and dungeon navigation systems, but he's been prototyping some other projects of his own that will probably be more interesting to the Tiny Barbarian audience, but haven't decided what that will be yet. And not to say they wouldn't possibly find that interesting, but like I said, it's basically the opposite of Tiny Barbarians. He believes it's going to start out on PC and PS4. He doesn't know what their plans are beyond that, but they did make it in Unity, so they have options. And then I said, finally, what games for the Switch are you currently playing? And he's been playing Mario Maker. He says it's hard to justify spending a lot of time with that because I could be making levels for my own games, but it's a lot of fun, and I really like playing levels made by other people I know. I've given myself a specific assignment with it, trying to make stages that are fun and interesting, but also really easy. I love hard games, obviously, and I didn't actually set out to make a hard game when I made Tiny Barbarians. It just turned out that the stuff I thought was interesting was also really hard. And you get that with Mario Maker. Like, it's very interesting to have Yoshi bounce through a level made of nothing but buzzsaws. And that's also inherently kind of a challenging thing. So I've been fighting that impulse and trying to make stages that are interesting in a different way. I also did a level about kicking buzzy beetle shells up using the mechanic in Mario World. You have to collect a certain number of coins to advance. But that one turned out to be the hardest one by far. He thinks it's really interesting and not difficult, but it turns out people died and gave up way more in that stage. And what's really cool as I'm reading through these levels that he made is we're going to put links and videos to his levels as well as codes. So if you do want to try out his levels, you can. And he says if anyone wants to get vengeance on me for all the difficulty in Tiny Barbarians, they are welcome to send him your Mario Maker courses. He will play them, though he will take normal non-vengeance levels too. And then he said, I'm really glad you're enjoying the Tiny Barbarians challenge. So I thought that was great. I mean, he made time for us, which was amazing. We spoke to him on Twitter, and it actually came about because of my weekly poll that we'll get into in just a moment. And
so
I think
what's funny though is you just had a post that
Yep.
basically he responded to like 2 minutes ago while you were speaking, and you were saying, really? Did you know that Tiny Barbarian DX was only $19.99 at Best Buy is the game of the week?
Yeah.
And then he said that not Switch, but it might be worth noting that Nicalis is doing a Steam sale this weekend as well.
Yep,
there might be a deal there. So, in other words, not only can you go get it for $19.99 at Best Buy, but also there's going to be a Steam sale this weekend too if you want to check out Tiny Barbarian on Steam. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he's responding to the tweets too. So I mean, again, it goes to the interactivity of the Nintendo Switch and like gaming in general right now is just like everybody is so involved and out there, and like this is a great time to be a gamer.
And we'll go into our recommendation for the game. I think we both know what we're gonna say. It'll probably be very similar to each other, but after speaking with Michael and just seeing him interact with us, that just elevated the game for me even more because it shows the passion that he had, and you can see that, right? You know it just because of all the references.
You can see it in the game when you play it too.
Right. But then hearing him talk about it and just really investing all that time, and then you play and you go, wow, this every game is somebody's work. But when you actually speak to the person who worked on it, to me that just means a lot more.
I mean, just simply like interviewing Jeff Ball like a year ago or a year and a half ago, like elevated this game just from a musical standpoint, and now it's like the developer too. It's just like on that level of retro nerdiness that we are, and it's like it's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. And you know what? I've been interviewing people in the Nintendo Switch community since October 2017, and because of this playcast, I played a new game that I bought, obviously, but I had put on the shelf. I got to interview the developer, and it's always just amazing that there's just so many people in this space, and just you can never stop talking to people. I mean, there's always going to be somebody working on the game in some capacity, whether they're the lead designer, they work on the music, the art, they're doing the PR for it, whatever it is. And it just, that's what makes this such a great community.
All I have to say is never stop talking to people. You could say I have a problem with that. No. But no, it's amazing though. Like I always, jokes aside, never. But it's super cool. Just the whole aspect of that. There's just so many people involved, and I think it's just the fact that it's like a Nintendo console and cartridge based, and it just hits all the right buttons.
Yes, it does. So, shall we read the user poll responses before we give our recommendation?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to jump into that. So, as always, on JP Switchmania Twitter channel, I always do a weekly poll, and I say, in this week's upcoming episode, Hagen's Alley and I will be talking about Tiny Barbarian DX from Star Quail and Nicalis. Have you played it? What did you think? Comment below, and we'll read your responses right now. So we had 138 votes, which was more than last week, which is a good thing. So 7% of people said they're going to play it this week. And if you're listening, let us know if you actually did play it, and if you did, what you thought. 33% had played this game, and 60% had not. So it just goes to show, I mean, these games are out there, and hopefully this show is opening your eyes to them and wanting you to just break the seal or download it or buy it, however you want to do it, and try it out. But let's see what people thought.
Well, and the thing is that, like, I think that you asked if people have played it, but I bet a lot of those people own it.
You know what? That could also be I'm going to start doing that as the fourth option. I'm going to say
own it. Own it, but haven't played it. Because I guarantee you there's some shelf candy. Because this is, again, like the Nicalis Launch Edition, which I'm pretty sure is like a full Switch run for most.
Yes,
it is like, because there's still launch editions available. But like that, it's amazing, and there's no reason not to own every Nicalis release. And Tiny Barbarian is,
it's
another one that has awesome goodies. So let's go.
But that's a great point. I'm gonna do own it, but haven't played it as a fourth option.
We're gonna get you listeners that are hiding out in the not played zone.
You thought you could just scroll through, not anymore. You're gonna click the vote button now. So we're gonna start off with my favorite person who always comments. It's Jeffrey Wintenhagen.
Oh no, I didn't comment.
Yes, you did. You said you played a cooperatively at Classic Game Fest this weekend, and you had some techniques which you shared with us, and I'm gonna use those techniques and hopefully progress a little bit further. Right. So. Et Shampoo said, it's a great little gem. Anyway, basically all Nicalis' games are great, except that 90s Super GP will take until 2032 to release, coming soon in 25 years, 23 to go.
You say those Et Shampoos?
Et Shampoos.
Amazing.
And I'm wondering if he's talking about the 90s Super GP, or was that read out? Well, either way. So next is at myself 128383132. It's one of my first physical Switch releases. Me and a friend hacked and slashed our way through the dangerous retro-style world for hours. Don't skip this platformer. It's challenging and has a great soundtrack. Completely agree. At the Lord Rayless, I've played but hit a part I couldn't progress past and haven't been back yet.
Hey,
So
that
if
was
you're
kind of like
listening,
me.
yeah, I'm very tempted to. You know what? As we're talking, I'm gonna quickly just respond to him and say, "What part did you get stuck at?" Because I'm
Listen,
curious now. So
listen
I
to
just said
that now, Michael Smith. We got you.
yeah, Michael Smith, you better respond. All right, so at gentleman_n, I imported it when the physical edition was released in the US. Really good and unforgiving platformer. I found myself stuck right at the first boss. Truly hard game, not for modern gamers. Good visuals as well. Then at Cubs fan 0430, sad to say I have it but have not played it yet. Wanted to make sure I got all the goodies in there, and that's what we were just talking about, going for that full set of Nicalis while it was still available. So Casey, I hope you're going to play this now.
And that being said, for listeners, like, go to Nicalis' website.
Yes.
They sell everything direct now, so you can ensure that you get the most goodies that they possibly have. Like, it's all packed directly. So they're going to have the last amounts of all the launch editions.
Yep. And as you're talking on, I wanted to go really quick and see if they actually still had time. They do. So it's $19.99 also on their website. And when you click on it, I'm trying to see if it actually still has the so it doesn't say that it's the first edition.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Because you remember
So
last week I got 4 games, and they were all did say launch edition on their website.
Yeah. So just always check their website because it will state if it's the launch edition or not. But at the same time, you may still find the launch edition elsewhere. But for $20, I mean, I think that's just a phenomenal price, especially for a game like this. So at Phil the Wii Fan, I absolutely love Tiny Barbarian DX. I thought nothing of it when I bought it. Only bought it because Nicalis published it. And once I started, I was hooked. The first level music pulls you in, and the gameplay is just really fun. Can't recommend this game enough. At Ryan Samu, really fun and challenging game. I definitely picked up and put it down initially, but once I got into it a bit more, it became super addictive. At HCF Gaming, half circle forward, I wasn't a fan of the art style, so I took a pass on it. That being said, I felt the same way about Wonder Boy, and that turned out to be fantastic. Am I missing out by not playing this one? And I did respond back, and I said, "Yep." So,
Yep.
I was like, what did I write? I wrote, after playing this game, I can resoundingly say you need to play it. The graphics are perfect for it, and it's so addicting. I should have just said, "Yup."
Yep.
Okay, so.
Oh, you didn't want to read Rhino's comment? That was a classic one.
I'm not gonna read that
Basically, he had a shipping error, and he wanted Nicalis to like fix it, but it's a shipping error from wherever. Apparently,
yeah, I'm like,
in poorly inserted cover. But being a part of production, there's a lot that's out of your hands as a publisher. So, like, I guarantee you, if you reach out to a company, like, they might send you a replacement of whatever was damaged, or a replacement copy. Like, sometimes, like, when it comes, if it's like overseas for me, I'll ask just to cover the extra shipping costs, so I don't have to pay that out of pocket. But I'll always send an extra. Like, if a book arrives damaged, like, I shoot it 1 for 1.
So normally this would be the end of all the feedback, but I actually, right before the episode, I put out that tweet that said, "Did you know that the game is only $19.99 at Best Buy and also on the Nicalis website? It's the game of the week for Switchmania Playcast." And I said, plus we interviewed Michael from Star Quail Games. So I actually got some feedback underneath that. So Ed Big Mitch Dog said, "How did I not know about this?" And I just wrote, "The more you know." So hopefully you'll buy it now. At Maddie Sora says, "It's also complete on cart and has a fantastic soundtrack." Michael Stearns, you just mentioned, said that not Switch related, but it might be worth noting that Nicalis is doing a Steam sale this weekend, and there might be a deal in there. So definitely, however you're going to play this game, check it out. Obviously, the DX version is the definitive version on the Switch, so that's what I would recommend.
Get the versus Horde mode.
And Maximo XJD said, "Bought this over a year ago. Admittedly, need to play more of this. Was really fun." So that's the feedback. And as you can see, the majority of people who did comment really enjoy this game. And I think they were like me, a little skeptical at first. And you start that first level, and it just pulls you in and keeps you there.
And for me, like in 2017 when I first got it, it hit that retro itch that a lot of games in the first year didn't hit because it wasn't overloaded with games in the eShop at that point. So I was checking out games like this, Retro City Rampage, Kamako, a bunch of different, retro style games. And, the releases were a lot fewer and far between in 2017. Whereas, like, now we got a ton of releases and everything's kind of getting lost in the sauce a little bit. And it's going to be up to us to make sure everybody knows about these games.
Yes, absolutely.
But Tiny Barbarian DX, for my recommendation, is obviously a resounding yes. I already read my review for the Switch Collector, and it's absolutely a must-own for retro enthusiasts. And, just the passion behind everyone involved with this project shines through. And, I mean, $20 for a physical copy is a no-brainer. Like, this is, if you're not getting it for $20, there's no way that it's a bad buy at that price. And
no.
Plenty. Even if you just go through the first episode, it's worth $20.
Yes, absolutely.
So what about
so for
you?
me,
I assume
I did not like this game, Pat. No, I'm just kidding. I love this game, and I'm telling you, the more episodes we do, the more games I'm realizing that I'm just loving that I never thought I would play. And for that fourth poll question that we didn't ask, though, who owns it but hasn't played it? I was one of those people. I broke the seal this past week. I put the cartridge in, and it's going to stay. It's now a game that's going to stay in my case until I beat it, and it's just one of those games where you could just kind of pick it up and play. And yeah, I mean, I can't recommend enough. Even if it wasn't $20, it's completely worth it. Even if you can't find the goodies still, and it's just the cartridge, it's worth owning. It's just such a fun game. It just, like I said, it pulls you in, it keeps you there, and it keeps reinventing itself as the game goes through with new mechanics. And yeah, I love it. I mean, right before we started filming, I was still playing, trying to get further and further. And when we stop filming, I'm probably going to play it a little bit more before bed, before I fully dedicate myself to the next game that I'm going to pick for the next episode.
Exactly. And so I mean, that's the thing about the Playcast is, time will go on, and we got to move to the next game, and that's where things get crazy. And the thing is that, like, technically, I like to wait until at least Friday. Because that way it gives me some time to readdress anything I might want to have tackled with the old game. And plus the rest of the work week is always crazy for me. So that helps too. But it all depends, because what game are we choosing for next week? What do we got on the docket for us, JP?
So I'm breaking our own rules, where the last few episodes we gave each other, two choices, but I'm actually gonna just decide for us, because it's a game that, I don't know, as a Switch collector, I feel everybody needs to play it. We all talk about it. I wonder if you can guess what I'm gonna pick.
Super Mario Odyssey. No.
No. That would be too easy. This is a game just infamously known throughout the Switch core community. It's a game I haven't played yet.
Is it a game that I own?
Oh yes, and you even have a little. You even show the page preview in your upcoming Kickstarter page.
Does that mean that I own the game, though?
Oh, I. You know what? If you don't own it, then I'm doing you a favor, because everybody that has a Switch needs to own this game. It's published by Maximum Games. We are going to be playing, for episode 14, Troll and I.
You troll. I definitely do not own Troll and I.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? It's like $12 on Amazon. You're welcome. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, I'm not going to use your link, you shill better. No.
Oh, come on.
JP gets like $14 out of that 12.
I will say this, though. The Maximum Games, I think, has the best sense of humor, right? They know by now kind of like how we all feel about this game. We kind of make it our mascot for Switch Core, right? We say everyone needs to own this game. you can guess it's probably not the best game. But you know what? We're not going to go into details for that. But what's really awesome is we were trying to convince one of our members to buy this game, and they're like, I don't know. And somebody was like, well, everybody show him that you have this game. So we all do like a face selfie photo where we put it up, by our face, and we take a picture.
I didn't respond to that because I don't own it.
No, but Maximum Games, their PR person took a picture, and he responded, and he's like, well, I could vouch for it. And, I actually messaged him privately afterwards. I was like, hey, thanks so much for just responding. And he said, I had to get approval, but I was allowed to take the picture. And to me, that just was such a great sense of humor. Like, they kind of understand, how the game is received in the community, but they still can have fun with it. And you know what? For all of it that I've heard about, I have not played this game, and I feel it's time to. So I'm going to make myself play it, and I'm going to make you play it too.
See, so back in the Mario Maker 2 episode, I don't understand why you're calling me a troll.
Exactly.
Now you're trolling us again.
It's trolling us now.
Way to go, JP. Way to go.
You're welcome. I'm bowing. You can't see it because we're recording, but I'm bowing. But we're going to have fun with that one.
Yeah, so that puts a bow on Tiny Barbarian DX, and next week we'll be playing the infamous Troll and I. I'm going to try to do one further and try some modern console ports like the Xbox One version if I can, because I think it's available on their Game Pass. I think I can play it for free. So
I kind of want to know your thoughts on what the Switch version is like.
Well, I definitely have to play the Switch version, otherwise I'll be like, oh, it wasn't that bad, because the frame rate's probably okay on the other versions. But I want to compare it and see if it's actually palatable on the other ones, and it's literally just the Switch port.
And in other news, our Switchmania Playcast is ending with episode 13. Weird coincidence.
So everybody, thank you for Troll and I killed us. My goodness. So now's the time to go over what we got in.
Oh boy.
For the week.
Yeah, this is a big week.
See, like last week, I overshadowed JP. This week, I got in Tiny Troopers, which we already talked about. And I only got in one other thing, so I didn't get in any other games. I do still plan on going in at least picking up Horizon. Chase
Turbo?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
The only thing is, though, is my wife literally just got it free on PlayStation.
Yep.
So
it just went free for Plus members.
But it's like, how much is it at the store? Like
$30.
30. It's not bad.
And what's really cool about this one is it's the launch edition, so it's a different cover, and there's a little thank you postcard from Aquarius, which is the developer for the game. So there will be a second printing at a future date, and that's the cover that if you go to any website right now, they are only showing the second printing cover because that's initially what was going to be released, and then PM Studios, who's publishing it, decided to do a launch edition cover. So
you're
if you get
have two copies, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I'll have two copies. You know what? For a game like this, and for PM Studios, oh no, Shanna's raising her hand and she's waving it around madly.
Is she putting her hand up on her hip? Because when you dip, she dips.
She picked up a Mickey Mouse plush, shaking his head no, waving his hand at me. She says she's on board with two copies, folks. And she's throwing stuff at me. Okay.
The intervention hasn't worked, people.
But I will say, so Shanna's actually, I've gotten her a little bit more on Twitter, and she's starting to do tweet-sized reviews of video games, and she's not a gamer. So the goal was she would look at the shelves and pick a game solely based on the title. Wouldn't even look at the front or back, and because she's not a gamer, she doesn't really have a genre preference. So the first week she played Troll and I. She could not make it past the boars in the very beginning, which was just a tutorial. But the second week, she decided to pick up Horizon Chase Turbo. So maybe we can include her in the future if we ever do play that episode. But yeah, so my point to you is it's a great game. You should play it.
Yeah, so definitely I got to do a adventure tomorrow with London, and I got to get a picture frame and some other stuff. So I was planning on swinging by Best Buy, see what they got.
Nice. Are you going to take a Sky Pick? Do you do that with us yet?
I haven't done the Sky Pick yet, but I mean, I might as well jump on that bandwagon. I was doing a Dash Pick. Remember, I sent you a picture of...
Yes, you did.
I did a Dash Pick, so maybe I'll do the Dash Picks.
Did you see what Best Buy did last week, though?
Empty Sky Pick. JP
I did.
Switchmania Sky Pick.
Yeah, I did that when I forgot my wallet yesterday. But last week, for Fire Emblem.
JP Switchmania Sky Pick. I saw they
Best
photoshopped
Buy
it.
took a Sky Pick outside, I guess, their headquarters, and they held up a printed sheet with my tweet on it with the pictures of my Sky Pick, and I was like, my day was just made. I'm done. I can close down JP Switchmania. My goal's been reached. But I just think that's awesome. I think they have so much fun with the Sky Pick, and it's nice that they're interacting with us with it as well. And I just love seeing people do it. I mean, it's great. So jump on that bandwagon.
It's insane. So there's only one other Switch related thing that I got this weekend.
Yeah.
And it was at the convention. So every convention you go to, there's guys that sell games, resellers and all that. And then there's a lot of artists. The coolest thing about Classic Game Fest is there's a lot of talented like pixel painters and those that are creating not only perlers, but this time there were some with like these awesome like Mega Man pixels and Mario where they're like not perlers, but they're like plastic almost printed. And it's really cool. But there was also like this one that she was making statues, like little resin statues. And so she had some Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild stuff. And she had the upgrade statue that you pray to either get hearts or stamina in Breath of the Wild. So I'm going to have to post a picture of that because it looks freaking amazing. If it's right now, it's in my collection already on my Nintendo published shelf, and it was super cool. I think it was like $40 or something. Super awesome. She also had a bunch of the Deikus, except for they were like 25 a piece, and she had like 8 different ones, and I'm like, ooh, that's an expensive adventure because I'm OCD and I'd want them all. But it was really cool, high quality, hand done, hand painted. Definitely an amazing little item. So that was the only other thing that I got because nothing came in the mail for me. And I haven't made it to the store this week yet. I know you're new release Tuesdays. I don't typically get out on Tuesdays. So, but tomorrow, Thursdays is when I get out with the family. So we'll see. We'll see. And it's just going to be a daddy-daughter time because I think my wife's going to be working late tomorrow again. Today she got home like as I was getting right before the cast here tonight. So yeah, she had a late night. But super super crazy, and I might have a copy of Troll and I in the future, especially if I can find somebody that price matches Amazon. That'd be amazing. $12.
Yeah.
I
posted the link the other day, and then my friend was like, "Oh man, I just bought it," and I said, "Good for you," and now you're gonna buy it too.
Well, I mean, the thing is that every game that's available physically on the Playcast, I'm going to have to own just for posterity's sake. Like, because we played it on the Playcast.
Exactly. And this game will have that much more meaning for you.
Wah, wah. It might be like dumpster fire, and we might set it on literally like char it, and I'll have the remains of it on my shelf. Never know. Make it custom. So what did you get this week, JP?
Okay, so I got a few games in. We're just going to go alphabetical this week. So first one was probably the biggest Nintendo release, and that's Fire Emblem Three Houses. Yeah. So I picked up the regular edition because in the US, if you buy the collector's edition, which I also picked up, you don't get the regular case. You just get the steel book with the cartridge. So I got the regular version. I got the US collector edition. I got the Japanese collector edition. And I got the EU Collector Edition because they're all slightly different. And today I actually put up a tweet-sized unboxing where I went into details with different pictures comparing all 3 of them. So you can see the differences, the similarities. So for you Steelbook collectors, you'll be happy to know that the US and the EU are exactly the same, but the Japanese one is different. And the way that it's
alternated or something?
Yes. So when you open up the US and EU one, there's inner artwork, and that inner artwork is actually the outer artwork for the steel case in Japan, and then their inner artwork is our outer artwork, blah, blah, blah. So 2 different steel books technically. And what's really interesting is that I thought the Japanese one was done really well. Very nice CD insert, but the only difference was they had a soft cover art book, whereas we in the EU got hard covers. Exactly the same book, same content, nothing's different, except ours is a hardcover. And I don't know if it was just mainly for packaging or for weight, but yeah, theirs was a soft cover, so I was a little surprised by that.
That's weird.
Uh,
The
and then the
one thing
EU,
that's interesting about
yeah.
that game is, did they bring the mode from the last Fire Emblem 3DS game where they got rid of or they have the option to get rid of the permadeath? Because that's the one thing that drew me in and made me want to play that Fire Emblem, and I still didn't get it for the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is, it was always off-putting, the permadeath. So when a character dies, you lose them forever from the story. And they had the option to turn that off in a casual mode or something. I wonder if they carried that forward. If they did, I may be picking this up just so I can maybe finally get into it, because I know it's one of the most approachable tactical games out there.
I'm trying to think because there is a topic on the permadeath here.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Okay, so it says while you can play the game in easier mode that revive characters after each battle, classic mode will still feature permadeath. But even in
so
classic
it
mode,
does
you
have the
can
option.
yeah, but even in classic mode, you can use a power called Divine Pulse at any point in battle, and it lets you scrub back through every single turn in battle until you're at a point you feel comfortable with. So this was from Polygon that I
So
took
that's
this
good
article
though.
from.
So you can play it without permadeath, because that's my thing. Is like, I don't
I
want to
don't,
be vested in a character and then lose them for the entirety of the game.
yeah, that to me
Yeah.
that's not very enticing.
But those that are, used to the series and it's a staple
Hmm.
of the series, like they'll appreciate that it's still there too.
Right.
So I like the option of having both.
Hmm. Yeah, I do like that because for a lot of people like myself, this would actually be the first Fire Emblem game that I go into if we didn't end up playing it or I play it in the future. So it's nice that it sounds like you have those options, which is good for both the casual and the longtime fans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the next game I got was actually somewhat of a re-release. It was Harvest Moon Light of Hope Special Edition Complete. So the difference now is the complete version includes the full game and all the DLC, 4 new marriage candidates, decorations, outfits, requests, and more. And it's complete on cart, so there's no DLC code in the case for anybody wondering. Only $30 from Natsumi, so yeah, it's if you like the Harvest Moon games, it's the more complete version.
And is that a pattern that we're probably going to see going into year 3 and then into year 4? Is a lot of quote unquote complete releases? I mean, a lot of modern games, like especially the Mortal Kombats and all of that,
Hmm.
they do a Ultimate Edition. I think, I mean, for posterity, I'm glad that they're doing it.
Hmm.
From a collector perspective, it's like, well, what if I bought that original Harvest Moon? Now I got to double dip to get it with the DLC, to have it forever, or I paid
Right.
to download the DLC and now it's available for essentially around the same price later.
Yep. It's
So,
true.
I mean,
I mean,
it's
it's
it's a
funny.
pattern.
And we talk about it in the community about complete on cart, and the first version, ends up not being complete on cart because of those DLC, and then it gets re-released, and you go, oh, okay, now it is, but you got
Yeah,
to pay for it.
or you just have to patiently wait if you have an inkling that a company's going to do it. And
Right.
so, yeah, we're going to see it a lot more, I would say, with the quote unquote AAA titles. Um,
Yes.
and going back to Tiny Barbarian DX, it's still the original version. They haven't done any updates to it,
Hmm.
so it's still complete on cart so far.
You don't need to do anything to that game. It's perfect the way it is.
So far, it's
So far.
perfect. And, yeah, it's great. All right, what else do you get?
I got Horizon Chase Turbo Special Edition, which we talked about was the launch edition.
Awesome.
And I technically got two versions of this. I got Kill la Kill If. So it's an anime-based game. It's fighting, but what's really cool is it's a new story mode where it's sort of like an alternate storyline to the actual anime. I haven't watched the anime, but it's one that I kind of want to watch. It looks over the top with fighting, looks really cool. And what's awesome is it's by Arc System Works, who make great fighting games. Dragon Ball Fighters is just one that comes to mind, and the Blaze Blue games. But they actually had a collector edition offered on their website in the US. So I did pick that one up as
So
well.
you mentioned anime, and I didn't realize we were talking last week, or the week before, about God Eater 3,
Yes.
and there's apparently a God Eater anime.
Yes.
Did
Haven't
not
seen
know
it
that.
either, but
Did
yeah.
not know that. So that might be another thing where I gotta dig into it, because I just finished My Hero Academia, so I gotta find
Oh, you
something
did?
new. Yeah,
Nice.
finally finished this.
I'm waiting for the new
newest
season to start.
Yep, me too now. But yeah, now I got another, because what I like about the anime episodes is they're shorter, so
Yes.
it's little 20-minute stints.
Super
So
doable.
yeah, like because I don't like doing like 40 minutes, hour and a half.
No, I hear you.
And sometimes, especially a game like even Tiny Barbarian, it's good to take a little 20-minute break and then dive back in.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the next game I got was one that, thanks to a friend, I kind of helped announce that it was widely available now. Even though some people said that they had seen it in stores, many of us in the community did not know about this. It's Professional Farmer Nintendo Switch Edition from UIG Entertainment. So previously, this was a Germany and Netherlands release, and apparently in Walmart it came out. So
Yeah,
did not
it's
know
been
about
out.
this.
It's been out for. I saw it here. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
But
Probably a bunch
see,
of farmers
nobody
out here.
nobody shared it with anybody.
Nobody
And
cared enough for professional farmer.
exactly. See what happened. So, quick story. So, what happened was my friend Saturday night, this past Saturday, said, sorry, Shanna's giving me the evil look. Oh, I know why. I'll tell you that story too. So, there's so much around this horrible farming game that I'm just going to have it just framed on my wall
At
for
least
you.
you admit it's horrible. That's...
No. You know what? I'm sure it's good. I don't want to say it's horrible. I haven't played it yet. But it's probably horrible.
No take backsies.
All right. So what happened was my friend said, hey, did you know that this got a U.S. release? He was on Nintendo Age or one website, and somebody had posted a picture. I said, no, I didn't know that it came out in the U.S. So immediately I went to eBay. One guy, no joke, was selling it for $500. Didn't sell, but he was like super rare, blah, blah, blah.
Super
so I emailed
rare,
him asking,
only in every Walmart.
So I asked him, I emailed saying, where'd you get this? He never responded. Then I saw in the sold listings that somebody had sold it for $60, for $30, just like two of them. So I emailed, and one guy was really nice. The first guy actually said, oh, I think I found it in like a mom and pop store. Then the second guy said...
Mom and pop store with the Switch games, yeah.
No, not only that, but with UIG Professional Farmer in the mom and pop store. So the next guy said, I think I got this at Walmart. I could check for you. And he hasn't gotten back to me. But at that point I said, Walmart. So I go to Walmart's website. I type in the game. Nothing comes up because their searching is just very difficult. But what's interesting is on the eBay listing, the person had put the UPC code image on the back. So I went to BrickSeek and I found it. So I found that there was actually a listing for it. And then when I searched my area, I saw that all these stores had like 4, 5, 6 copies. So I went.
$500 a piece. There we go.
Yeah. So I went at 11:30 at night to the nearest Walmart, which is about 15 minutes away. Their electronics section apparently is closed down, even though they close at midnight, because no one has the keys to open up like the glass cases. But I saw 4 copies there. I saw them right there. Couldn't get them. Went with Shanna. We were so excited. We're literally like, it's 11:30. I'm running through the store to get to this Professional Farmer game. And I get there, I see it, and I can't buy it. And I plead with them. I'm like, can anybody just open this case? They said no. I said, okay. So we were going to go back the next morning, and they open up at 6. Their electronics section opens up like 7:30. And I wake up at 8, and our youngest daughter is still sleeping. So I kind of asked Shanna to stay home with her, and I went by myself, and she was a little upset that she didn't get to go on the hunt with me. But long story short, I got a copy. I'm so proud to own this. And then, I shared it with everybody, and apparently a lot of people went to Walmart on that Sunday and bought Professional Farmer for no other reason than only Walmart was selling it. But yeah, like you said, after I posted, people go like, oh, I had seen that in Walmart already for like the last couple of days, last couple of weeks. But nobody had bought it and shared it with us. And honestly, like nobody knew that it had come out. So it was a little bit of a sleeper, soft release, but it's out and it's only $30. And now there's a story behind it.
Now you have a story and you can never get rid of Professional Farmer grade.
And episode 16, guess what we're playing?
No, bad JP.
No, I won't. All right, so the next game is Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden Deluxe Edition. And this one includes the Seed of Evil expansion DLC, adding several hours of gameplay and a new mutant character, Big Con the Moose. Explore new locations and embark on a mission to save the Ark from a mysterious invasion. And it's real-time stealth and exploration meets deep turn-based tactical combat. And from the people that have played this previously, they actually said it's pretty cool. And the cover is awesome. It's literally like a boar and a duck
I mean, it sounds interesting. As soon as I saw Mutant, I think Mutant League Football, Mutant Football League. So I was like, oh, it's just Mutant Football League, and then you start going into it, and it's like, oh, it sounds cool. Not really my genre, but it sounds cool.
But maybe it's one that we'll both try out one day.
Maybe.
Okay, so next one I got was Raiden 5 Director's Cut.
Nice.
This is the limited edition one. So this comes with, I believe, I see a manual, and I thought it came with a soundtrack. I could be wrong.
Where did it come from?
Oh, this was a retail release, so Amazon, Best Buy have it.
Nice.
Yeah, Target also, and GameStop were carrying it.
Like, think about this. 2019, we could buy a new Raiden at freaking Best Buy. Like, what are we doing? This is insane. Like, I love it. Yeah, I might be getting it tomorrow. Never know.
Nice. So the next three that I actually got some flack for this from some people in the community, which is always interesting when I see kind of like negativity, but it's the Wolfenstein Youngblood and the Deluxe Edition. And this is a digital code in box or case, so there's no actual cartridge. But here's the interesting thing that I only found out about by accident, is that the Deluxe Edition, there's actually an Amazon exclusive that on the cover, it just says, it's the same cover as the regular Deluxe, but it actually says Amazon.com, Wolfenstein Youngblood exclusive skin for the Joy-Con. So there's an exclusive Joy-Con skin included inside the case.
Cool.
But there's no cart. But what's really cool is the Deluxe Edition includes a buddy pass, so you can invite a friend and they play for free.
Huh.
But what's interesting is that I got actually, like I said, I got some flack for this because people consider me an influencer now, and they thought, oh, why are you promoting a game that doesn't have a cart? You know, you're kind of just fueling the behavior that this practice is acceptable.
Everything, so.
Well, that, and also you have to understand that not everybody collects the same way. And to me, I collect retail releases. This is a retail release, whether there's a cart or not. Some people just collect cartridges. Some people are going to buy just digital, and, you know, for the same price, why not just get this one?
And that being said, like, in the Switch Collector book, there's going to be a Foxicle section. And in 2017, we had Sonic Mania Deluxe, which came with a limited edition without the game and cartridge. And then you also had, what was the other one? The cubed game?
Oh, Square.
Death Square. Yeah, so we at least have those two from 2017. So, like,
and it's
going to grow.
Since then. Oh, yeah, it's definitely grown. And there's some European exclusives in 2018, 2019 that we're going to get into in future books. So it's going to be a pretty big section. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk about and kind of see how that evolves over time.
And, like, while I'm not going to collect a lot of the code ones, it's still a section to collect for people. And you can choose to compartmentalize your collection and only get carts. That's fine. That's your own way. But if you want everything, there's stuff out there.
There is. So the last regular release I got was European exclusive. It's X-Morph Defense Complete Edition. And this one's awesome. The Complete Edition includes the base game, all DLCs, the European Assault, Survival of the Fittest, a Last Bastion, an instruction booklet, and a 3 art print set, all in the case. And somebody asked today if a U.S. release is planned, and Exor Studios, who's a developer of the game, responded back to my thread and said that there are no plans for a North American release. So if you want this game, just import it. If you go to Shop for Megastore, it's only, I think, $30.99 with free shipping. It's about the same. What?
What type of game is it?
Oh, so it is a unique fusion of a top-down shooter and tower defense strategy.
That sounds
interesting. And it looks really cool. There's epic boss battles, destructible environments, shooter and tower defense mechanics, and, you know, with all the DLC on it, and a really cool manual. I mean, I'm looking at the manual. It's another fully colored manual, really well done, and it just makes the game just look awesome. So, you know, I'm not big into tower defense kind of games or even strategy based, but this one looks fun and it looks massive. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. And there is one more game that I got. It just came in today, and this is an Asia exclusive. Well, actually, I'm sorry. It came out in Japan, but in Asia, they had the English subtitled version, and that's Omega Labyrinth Life, which is a lewd kind of game.
Classic JP.
Yeah, that's me. So
I bought the JP with his lewd mouse pads with boobicles on them.
This says roguelike meets Slow Life. It's a new school experience that is overwhelmingly glamorous, legitimate roguelike RPG that can be played and enjoyed many times. Feel your chest blossom as you defeat your enemies. The bigger your chests get, the mightier you become. Water your flowers or change the school from inside out. Enjoy your slow life as long as you want. And I bought the collector's edition, so it came with that big boob mouse pad that seems to be
Classic JP.
pretty famous with all these releases. It came with a music soundtrack CD. It came with a steel book, and it was an official Nintendo steel book, not like a disc-based one. It came with DLC content and launch edition DLC content. And I think that may have been everything that was in there. But I did another tweet size unboxing today on my Twitter channel. So if you just scroll through earlier in the day, you'll see everything that came in it. It goes for $119.99 on Play Asia. You use code Switchmania, you save 5%, and it is still available. So those were my releases to round out July for me.
Jeez, a lot of them. A lot of them.
Another light month for me.
Another Switch month for you.
Another Switch month.
Another Switch month. So let's jump down the rabbit hole and talk about some news. I at least have 4 things to talk about.
I can talk about my one.
That's one of them.
Okay.
So that's definitely one. And I actually have an idea for that. So the first thing is, there's only one pro wrestling game out for the Switch. But they just announced Retromania Wrestling.
Yes.
Which looks like the engine from WWF Superstars in the arcade. And really cool that there's some indie wrestlers combined with some legends in there. It'd be interesting to see. Hopefully they put it out physically. Because I could just imagine what they would throw out there when it comes to goodies with this. It'll just be super cool. I think RGT85 was heavily promoting it. So
yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool though to see another wrestling game, and I'm still holding out that we get Fire Pro Wrestling World on the Switch.
Yes.
My goodness, because I just love that game. I have it on Steam, so I could download infinite different types of wrestlers and stuff, because it's Fire Pro Wrestling Returns on the PS2 is my all-time favorite wrestling game of all time, and I'm not even a wrestling fan anymore, or somebody who watches all the time. I follow some of the indie stuff and the new AEW promotion. So it'll be interesting to see if AEW goes in with Retromania Wrestling or not, because some of the guys in there, like Colt Cabana, have wrestled with some of those guys in AEW. So should be really cool. So that's one thing for sure. So there's a Switch Online upgrade that they're doing in Japan. And this could be something that could have ramifications to the U.S., and we might even be able to incorporate it in the Switchmania Playcast in the future. So
I'm listening.
Not sure if you're tracking this, but apparently in Japan in August they are giving online subscribers Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for free for 1 week.
Oh wow! I did. Yes, I did see that.
So if you think about that, that's kind of a little bit of a limited way of how Xbox and PlayStation give you your free game every month. And so if they do these type of limited plays, we can make that especially if it's a stateside thing, we can make it a Switchmania Playcast. All right, so we got this game free this week, that's what we're playing for the Playcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as it's something we haven't already covered.
Right.
And absolutely we could give the game the focus. So I think that would be really cool. It'd be interesting to see if they try to roll that out. I know modern gamers are probably going to complain that, we don't get to keep it forever. However, I just think it'd be cool just to get it for a week and try it out.
And I would imagine that your save status will stay on your console.
Yeah, exactly. So then if you decide to buy the full version in the future, you continue
right.
on. And you can beat it during that week, and you're good to go too. So just getting more playtime out of Switch games. It's nothing wrong with that. And it's not costing anybody anything on top of their normal Switch Online. So, I mean, sounds like a win-win to me.
Yeah, I hope they bring that over here too.
That would be amazing. So another one before we get to the warned. Custom consoles by publishers. So where does that fit in? Because Those are
Mm-hmm.
kind of like one-offs, and we saw like it was the Doom trilogy or the Doom 25th Switch console, and they're doing a
Well, they did Skyrim, they did Wolfenstein in the past.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like Skyrim was released in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that has to be covered in the book.
Yeah, yeah, it's not something that I personally collect because if you can't easily
You couldn't
buy
get
it,
it.
I mean, yeah, you have to be lucky. I mean, we've actually seen it on eBay that people have sold them, and they go for, I think they sold them for like $1,300 or so.
Yep.
So,
So
they
you
are in
can
the,
get
and also if you think about, sorry, the Labo contest that they had the exclusive console and the Joy-Cons and the dock in the
hmm
Labo design. So, these consoles are real. They are offered through giveaways, but they're just not retail releases. But I think they're important to note because they did come out, and if you're a even crazier collector than I am, you're going to try and find these consoles somehow.
And did you say that there's like somebody who's like keeping track of all these on a website or something?
Yeah, there was a website I had learned about a while back that had been listing all of the consoles
Perfect.
that came out. I have to go back and see if they've been
Oh
maintaining
yeah.
it, but I know
We'll
that
check into that and report back to the podcast
yes.
in a week or so. Because
Hmm.
the thing is that anything that was released during the purview of the first book, I definitely want to cover in a different section because
Hmm.
that's like getting a kiosk, a Switch kiosk. That's
Exactly. Yes.
another thing that's going to be a collectible piece. You can't buy it now, but you may be able to get a copy later. And that's the thing is like if you're a patient Switch collector, you can pick up some of this really ridiculously rare stuff. And I think it's really cool. No issues with it, and definitely something to keep track of. Um,
Hmm.
I did see a few people with the book asking like why we're starting so early, and a lot of
Uh-huh.
people were like they appreciate that we're starting early to keep track of it, and that's
Oh
mainly
yeah.
it. That's mainly it. Is like as time goes on, like certain little things like these custom consoles, like we're already gonna have to weed through the Etsy and Pinterest posts of the fake collector's editions that look amazing. There's a Tiny Barbarian like Joy-Con and like console that somebody made pictures of. So
Hmm.
photoshopping is real. It's
Oh
just
yeah.
so we got to sift the real from the fan created too. So it'd be way harder years down the line to keep track of all this. So it'd be perfect to do it now. If there's something that we happen to miss, I mean,
Hmm.
there's not going to be a whole lot because we're going to go over this thoroughly. But if there ends up being anything, I mean, that's there. It'll be easy to do revisions.
Exactly.
Yep. So the warned collectors.
Yes,
So
yes, yes. That was interesting to wake up to today.
So I
But
found from a non-Switch release about it, non-physical Switch group release. It was just one of my Facebook friends posted
yeah.
about it, and they have a way to get your money back, 100%.
Well, that's
With
good because
this,
I was not able to get 100% back. I was able to get 50% back for the one that expired past the PayPal warranty.
so I'm not sure if his went past the PayPal warranty or not.
Yeah.
Um, However, on PayPal, if you have issues with something like Warren Collectors, if they don't respond and
Hmm.
you put in a request 10 times, you automatically get your money back if they don't
Oh,
respond.
interesting.
So,
Okay.
Warren Collectors, if they're not responding, not being responsive, don't give a crap about the people. Then if you keep on putting in the request, once you do 10 responses, PayPal has a policy where they will reimburse you. So, that being said, listeners, like if you got duped into this nefarious thing and you want to take the chance that it's not actually coming out, because if they end up bringing it back out, like I don't see it happening, but you
Yeah.
never know. But you can go through and contact PayPal through the normal channels. Once you do 10 responses,
Hmm.
you get your money back. At least that's what a Facebook friend of mine claims happened, and it worked for him. So I would say that's a good realm because even if like somebody did a claim on mine, I would respond. So you know
Right.
what I mean? Like so I would be, oh no, this is what happened. And guess what? That isn't 10 times no response. So like anybody's doing legitimate business, it doesn't affect you. It affects those that are trying to literally just collect money and hope that they can get away with something. And hopefully that's not the case, but it's going further and further down the rabbit hole. So
Yeah.
what
So
was you had an inside source or something, right?
yes. So I Yeah, I can't.
No,
It feels weird because
don't reveal your source.
no,
Don't.
I'm not gonna reveal. It just feels like, oh, I'm being so secretive. But you know what? It's somebody that spoke with a French indie developer. So they're in the video game industry, my contact and their contact, and they had confirmed that Warren Collectors had actually shut down. So the person that I spoke with knows the type of collector I am. I speak with them pretty frequently, and I told them my position initially was that, you know what, maybe something happened. I'm holding out even after the Nintendo Soup article had gone out saying, that they weren't going to ship out the games, and then we saw Warren Collector respond, and this was back in June. June was the last time they responded for about a week after that article came out, and then they stopped. But you know what? All along, people were asking me, what do I think they should do? And I told them what I did. I said, I'm holding out because in the off chance that they at least release the first game, I would still rather have my pre-order because one of two things. One is that they're going to ship it and I'll still get it. Or two, they could be that company that's just very vengeful and they're only going to give it to people who never canceled and they're not going to make it available again. And as a collector, I said, well, I don't want to miss out on the possibility of getting this game that could ultimately be rare because the company releases it and then dissolves and is no more. So I said, I can't tell you what to do, but for me, I'm holding out. Today, when my source had told me that they shut down, I believe them. They have no reason to lie to me or even to bring it up to me, especially that they know the type of person that I am. And that to me was reason enough to finally say, okay, I'm going to put in the claim.
The
I'm going to just be done with
straw.
this. It was the final straw. And what I did actually that a lot of people don't know is that when back in November, December, when pre-order started for the first two games, I did the first two under one transaction. And later on in April, I said, well, wait a minute, what if they only release one game and then they don't ship it because I had the bundle? So I actually pre-ordered the first one a second time by itself. And then I pre-ordered the third game around the same time. So I had three pre-orders with them. The second and third one were still within the PayPal warranty, so I put in the resolution claim, and that's currently under pending investigation, but it probably will get refunded.
Respond 10 times, JP.
Yeah. But the first one was outside of it, so I entered it today. It immediately got declined. I contacted PayPal through their chat feature, and they said, I'm really sorry. It's past the 180 days. We can't do anything. I said, yeah, but they told us to wait, to be patient. Why would I have had a reason not to? I said, so I'm just out of this money when the company decides not to fulfill their obligation. And he had told me, he's like, well, you know what? As a courtesy, I can refund you half the amount as credit back to your PayPal account. So I didn't fight him. I said, okay, thanks. So for anybody that, is past that warranty period, give them a chat, politely argue with them and just, state your stance on this. And hopefully they'll be able to do something similar to what they did for me, and you can recoup some of that money. But listen, I was holding out. I mean, I definitely think I was one of those last batches of people thinking they're going to release at least the first game. It's got to be at least that one. And today I was just, I'm done. I'm taking them off my website of my limited publishers, or maybe I'll still leave them on, but I'll put a note saying
warning.
They seem to, warning for Warren Collector. And I even said on my tweet, I said, listen, if I'm wrong, and they come back and say, here's our games, I'll be the first to apologize.
Eat your hat.
But you know what? As a collector, I would have wanted to know this information. So that's why I felt that I needed to share it with everybody today. But listen, I'm not the law. I'm only saying what I've been told. I trust my source. I have no reason to think that they're lying to me. So that's why I shared it. But I wasn't able to verify it myself. I couldn't speak to that developer to see where he learned, that they shut down. But I trust where it came from. So that's why I shared it. And apparently a lot of people are in the same boat as me. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I saw a lot of people saying that they're putting in the claims today. So
reliable source, though, people. Reliable source.
Yeah, I try.
So my question is, were any of those games released during the first year of the Switch digitally? Because I think Panakapu or whatever. I think that one was, because I remember there was one game that I had a spread for, and I removed it when we did our first live stream, and I'm pretty sure it was one of the Warren Collector games. And I was man, I need to add it back then because it's not coming out, and I want to mention that it had a possible physical release, but then possibly not happening.
Yeah, so Pankapoo came out on September 28th, 2017.
Yep.
So that one is. The other one was the Zombie Night Terror, I think. Yeah, Zombie Night Terror was their third release that they had announced. But that game, I'm just checking Nintendo's site right now to see what year that came out. I think that was a later one, but
And then
give
the
me
other
one
one
second.
was what,
I'm gonna let you know.
Dungeon...
Yeah, so sorry. So Zombie Night Terror was January 31st, 2019. So that's actually the second year. And then the last one was Dungeon Rushers.
Yeah, Dungeon Rushers.
Yep, and that one was released on May 25th, 2018. So during year 2.
Only one that we got to worry about for the... And I would definitely say we are going to cover... How do you say that name? I always say it wrong.
Which one?
Panakapoo?
Oh, I call it Pankapoo.
P-A-N-K-K-A-P-U.
Pankapoo.
Pankapoo. I'm just going to put an exclamation. So I'm actually putting that into my review template so I can make sure that I cover it. I'll have to create a spread on it. So yeah, that's... Is there anything else newsworthy? Otherwise, we'll jump into some Switchbook updates.
Nothing. Oh, yes, there actually was one. That just came out, I think, today.
Thought I missed something.
EA had an interview, and the question was asked, why don't they release more games on the Switch? And from the article I read, the response was, well, they look at the market and they see if the game is on other consoles that people probably own. So like the PS4, Xbox. So their logic was, well, if it's out for there, why should it be on the Switch? I don't know about you, but from what I've been reading and hearing from developers, their games are selling better on the Switch
than
every
the
other
ones combined.
And I'll be honest,
like every week almost.
Like if you're looking at Madden, right? If you're looking at the sports games, yeah, they probably would sell better maybe on the PS4 and Xbox for the graphics, for the hardware capacity. But you know what? How are you not releasing these games? Like it's Madden, for instance, right? I mean, Madden was on everything. How do you not look at Nintendo Switch as a viable additional source of revenue for you? I mean, everyone is buying games for the Switch. I mean, so many developers are jumping on.
That might just be a poor interview or something because
it could be, but you know what? How many games from EA do we have though?
Well,
and we're in third year.
My thoughts are, I'm like, maybe they just don't want to run into a WWE 2K18 debacle where their port is so bad that it gets panned universally. Because cause that's the thing is like having to port one of these modern sports games that's optimized for 4K and all this, porting it over to the Switch, maybe it's just not worth it from a programming standpoint to, make sure that it's still viable on the older tech that is the Switch comparatively. Because like a lot of the games that we're seeing from ports are like also from like PS3 era, and they look amazing on the Switch. A lot of the PS4 stuff, they're having to do some magic. And the thing is, though, is that we're seeing more and more modern titles releasing patches that work this magic, and the games are running excellent now. So, I mean, I think that this is going to be a system that's going to have to be learned from developers. And maybe EA just doesn't have the aptitude to be able to optimize their games yet. And we might see more come later. But I think that PR guy was probably just needs to be fired, maybe. It's a horrible... Oh, I don't think there's enough players on the Switch. We're like, come on, guy.
I mean, I will say, you look at Doom, right? Panic Button helped pour it over to the Switch. It's beautiful on the Switch. It's so smooth on the Switch. I mean, yeah, the graphics you can't compare it to the PS4 graphics, right? It's going to look even sharper, but the game itself,
half the frames per second, but that's okay. And it runs at 30 frames to 60 frames per second, which, I mean, it is a huge difference if you're playing them side by side. But if you're only used to one version or you're just playing that one version, it's still an amazing game regardless.
Like, I've only ever played it on the Switch, and I thought it played beautifully on it. I mean, I loved it. I felt there was really no issues. And I played the whole campaign. I never did multiplayer or anything online, but I played the single-player story, and I thought it was perfect on the Switch.
So with games like that, it's really a benefit of having it in handheld and taking it on the go. I
yeah.
never played Doom on the TV on the Switch. I mean, I have it on the Xbox One. I already got through like the game on the Xbox One, and I played it portably on the Switch, and it's fine because in that smaller screen, it's not as noticeable, or it doesn't really matter,
Mm-hmm.
because you're playing it in the comfort, or you're like on your couch, like chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. To me, it's like it's a non-issue. And it's the lure of the Switch itself is just being able to do that.
I agree. And you know what? Worst case, just port over an old Madden. Doesn't even have to be Madden 2020. But it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I just feel like there's still some developers and publishers that are just not jumping on the Switch train.
We'll just
And
have
it's
to
just,
play Mutant Football League.
I guess so. And we'll have to play NBA 2K.
Exactly. I mean, we'll just play the ones that we do have.
Exactly.
And I do know another news one. That Sydney Hunter is coming soon for the Switch, and they did say that if it sells well digitally, that
Mm-hmm.
they're in talks with physical publishers. But the thing is, it has to have a good selling track record.
Yeah, of course.
I think Gamester John, he said something about like there's still gonna be money out of their pocket when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to it, but talking to the other developers, it's more like no, they handle it, it's hands off. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure who they're talking to with a physical publisher, but like I do know publishers that will produce this without
I,
costing the
I
company.
hope so, because I follow Collector Vision on Facebook, so I see their updates, and they've been showing the progression for the Switch, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna see a physical at some point. It's not if, it's when, because I think it's that fun of a game, and I think there will be big support behind it. But it goes back to that issue of, do I buy it digitally? Do I wait physically? And some people will wait in hopes that it comes, but at the same time, a game won't come if it's not going to sell initially.
And it depends
So
on the price point. So, like,
yeah.
if this is a $40 game, it's going to even be a hard sell for me where I'm planning on double dipping the support. But $40 digitally, when I know that they're going to do a physical, that's tough. If
Right.
it's 20 or less digitally, like $9.99 would be perfect. But if it's like even $19.99 or less, and then the
Hmm.
physical's $40, I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
Like, that's the other thing. So I'm okay with the physical Switch tax as they have it, because I know I'm getting it physically and it'll be there forever. And you get goodies and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But it's going to be a hard sell if it's over a $20 price point. The game is like amazingly overhauled from the Super Nintendo version that people have played. So
Oh,
there's
nice.
tons to it. Like they've done the modern console polish for it. It's not just a Super Nintendo port. So like it's an amazing game. I've played it at conventions. And as we mentioned on our panel at Midway's Gaming Classic, DJ Saramaru did some of the artwork for one of the final bosses. So you got a lot of artists involved with this project too.
That's awesome.
So that's super amazing. So we can jump into the Switch book. I've done a lot on the Switch book this week.
Let's get into it.
Because the Virtual Boy book is done. I already have that in printing, and I'm waiting on Walter Day to get me backstories on his book. I've been focusing on this sucker. So one thing I did is I went through the entire book. What you didn't know is a lot of the 2 to 4 page spreads
Hmm.
weren't actually finished. I only did 1 page.
Oh.
So now I've completed the whole second page and adding all the goodie pictures for those games that have physical, like, limited releases or extra goodies. I've some of the ones, like I actually wrote a few. So I wrote Tiny Barbarian DX. Also wrote Oxium Verge, and Oxium Verge turned from a 2-pager to a 4-pager because I had a lot to say about it. And when it turns into a 4-pager, there's also like full art on pages. Like, it's amazing. And that being said, if you're an artist out there and you want some of your art from the purview of any book featured, hit us up. And I will gladly incorporate. We'll give you credit, and especially if you hit us up, it'll be in the back too. But I like to leave all of the signatures, or if you have a tag on the picture, I like to leave that on the picture in the book because it gives it like a personal feel. And I always reach out to every artist. and just to see if they're cool with it. If they're not, I'll swap it out for something else. But
Mhm.
I've had nobody have an issue with their game being in there, so
Nice.
super cool. So yeah, I got through a lot of that. Wrote a bunch of spreads. Went over a few different spreads. Like Oxy and Verge I've had written, but I had to overhaul it a little bit and make it look good
Mhm.
for the book. And then I've been sending JP some PMs about the Switch Collector Kickstarter campaign.
I love it.
And so, like, I've been going through and overhauling it, and JP's like, can I share it? Can I share it? And I was like, no, it's not finished yet. Well, last night I was up till 2 a.m. and I finished it.
Woohoo!
And so I added a bunch of craziness. The URL, and this was easy to remember, JP. I made it a tiny URL. So it's tinyurl.com/Switch Collector. That's all it is. It goes to the preview page, and when the Switch Collector goes live, it'll be live. It'll go right to the actual page as well. So those that are listeners right now are going to have first dibs, and as soon as the episode goes live, you'll be the first ones to know about the Switch Collector. Next week or soon, JP's going to start sharing this like hotcakes. But it's tinyurl.com/Switch Collector.
Ooh, there it is.
There it is.
So okay, so just so I know and our listeners, they go to this page, they can click on notify me on launch, and they'll be kept in the loop.
There's a little heart there that says notify me. Just like when we shared my user page last week, my user page, you can click notify me, and it'll actually notify you when I launch a new project, whether that be the Switch Collector or another book I do in the future. But this one specifically, number one, you can comment, so you can see what we have. If there's anything you're confused on, you can let us know and go, hey, what does this mean, or what is this, or is there this option? Ask us, and if we don't know, we'll clarify it before we launch. And if there's something cool that's an idea, we'll add it. So there's a bunch of tiers there. I spelt everything out, all the different things. I got pictures of stuff. I created mock-ups of pictures based on like the limited edition wooden slipcase from the Virtual Boy. I did a mock-up. Now, that being said, the mock-up has multicolor. It's going to be one color that's going to be wood burned, and I'm going to go over it with ink. So it's either going to be red or natural wood. I have a picture of the natural wood one. It just didn't flow with the campaign. I had like a picture of my Nintendo boxes, but whatever we do for the cover, it's gonna be the same for all of them, and whether we go natural wood or red, I think going natural wood would be cooler because it'll really pop. Because the cover itself is still gonna be in there. It's gonna be red. But
I love this.
But there's that. I posted some high quality pictures of the chest, the game chest. I posted high quality pictures of the arcade. And then and the book, and I showed the front and the back of the book with 3D mock-ups. And then on the bottom I have another section that has the stretch goals. So like there's already going to be a bookmark ribbon. It's going to be turquoise or blue. For a bookmark ribbon, and if it hits a stretch goal, we'll do a second bookmark ribbon, so you'll have the blue and red for the Switch Joy-Cons. And then there's printing on the end sheets, so that's like when you open the cover, there'll be artwork on the inside instead of just a white page like most books have. Most of my modern releases, I like to do that. That's like a standard, but it costs a little more than a standard. So if we just hit the minimum goal, I can do a book. And then as we hit the stretch goals, like I can afford to do more with it. And that's what I want to do with the stretch goals, is extra stuff. And then the highest tier, which is about what I've earned with my other books, is a slipcase for every book. So every book will have a slipcase, and it'll be with the entire print run. We'll have a slipcase. So
I want that to happen.
That'll be amazing. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna make it everybody gets a slipcase that's a backer, or that pre-orders the book, or if I'm going to make it the entire print run. It depends on the end cost to do and how much we earn for the campaign and how many books I can print. Because anything extra I earn, I do extra books and pour it back into the book. Now, there was something I mentioned to JP. I'm like, did you find the secret? Something I didn't talk to you about.
I'm looking. Tell me what I missed.
So go to goodies. because there's also goodies, so you can add on money.
I saw the cards.
We never talked about cards, JP.
Oh, you're right. I saw it.
You're a
I
dork,
didn't talk about it.
JP. I saw the cards, but that's it. So,
So tell us about the cards.
So, anyways, the add-ons themselves. So basically, say you pledge $40 for the book. If you do an add-on, so it's $40, then there's shipping costs. If you add to your pledge an extra whatever, you can get goodies. So number 1 is cards. Number 2 is what was requested by a lot of people, which is check mark stickers. So it's literally stickers that you can put in the book in the check mark boxes, so you don't have to mark in the book. Those are available on Amazon, so people can buy them. The cost that I have there is what would cost to get them shipped to me and shipped to you. So that's the thing. 'Cause it'll be a separate thing from the book shipping. And then there's prints. I did poster, but Rusty Shackles, the artist, he wants to do high quality prints because he said the posters tend to be cheaper material, so he wants to do a nice high quality print of the cover. Mm-hmm. And I put his original background that he sent to me. I'm not sure which background he wants to use, so I put that subject to change because it's all on what the artist wants to do. I'm not going to tell him what to do. And then there's a Switch Collector t-shirt, which I think looks pretty amazing.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like everything on here.
So the cards.
Yes.
This is where things get a little crazy because Super Rare and Limited Run Games have done cards.
Yes.
And I think this would be a really cool way to document the Switch Collector process. So these cards, there's going to be a Jeffrey Wittenhagen card as the author, a JP card as we're interviewing, for Tiny Barbarian. They're going to have a card because they're part of the Switch Collector.
Wow.
Yeah, so I may... And here's the thing. So I'm going to also open this up that if you're a contributor on the Kickstarter, and I don't have this on the campaign yet, but if you're the contributor tier and you're contributing a story, you're going to get a card about you.
That's awesome.
So I haven't decided if I'm going to do traditional cards or I'm going to go like really high quality playing cards, because I can do high quality like playing cards and it'd be different than what everybody else is doing. Now I was doing a Bit Battles card game last year.
Yes, I remember that.
This is the same outline and background from that, and I think it fits really well. It's just retro style. I think it'll fit really well. This just might be my Hagen's Alley card series that I do, and if I do Bit Battles, it'll be the same type of deal. I'll see what kind of quality we can do, but it's gonna be the highest quality I could possibly do. It wasn't super expensive to do the Bit Battle stuff, so basically for the $5 increase, you're gonna get 5 cards. And it'll be random what 5 cards you get depending on how many we make. So
as a collector, will there be an option to buy the whole set?
There is an everything tier on the Kickstarter. And then I'll probably have to figure out how many we're making, and then it'll just be a full set. So I'll have to see how many cards that there are going to be, because I haven't made a card yet. I made the example one, which is templated, so I can easily plug and play whatever text I want to and whatever imagery. So like for us, I could use our animated pictures. I could even do a card on the Switchmania Playcast, since we've talked about the Switch Collector. Anything that's involved with the Switch Collector, I want to highlight. And anybody that covers the Switch Collector for the campaign and everything, I almost want to just make it a part of the experience and the history of it. It doesn't have to be something that's like super rare or anything, and I don't think I want to limit the cards. It's just they're going to be printed like kind of on demand, and it's how many are out there or how many are out there type deal. It's nothing. I just think it's a different way to instead of just writing a book on it, it's a different way to highlight the history, and then you can literally put it in like a card binder and see everything. So
a card binder.
Yeah.
Imagine a card binder with the Switch Collector logo.
Exactly. So I mean, already thinking of stretch goals, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just one thing that I can just I may and the thing is that like so with the Switch Collector Kickstarter campaign, it'll be like add $5, get 5 random cards. Later on, like since I don't plan on making them limited or anything, I probably will offer a complete collection like in the Hankin's Alley bookstore.
That's
Like,
awesome.
you know what I mean, for pre-order or whatever.
Yep.
Just later. But I think it'd be a really neat way to this is what happens when I'm up till 2 a.m., man. It's like I come up with crazy ideas that I'm like, that might be cool. And
You need to stay up later longer then.
I mean, the lack of sleep is where the creativity comes in, and where, you know, I do my best thinking when I'm like half out of it, and going through and wanting to get it done before we recorded, so that way, what listeners of the Playcast, when they hear this, will be able to go right to the campaign, and it at least spells everything out. The one thing I haven't done is the links weren't working well, so I couldn't I put JP Switchmania in there and jpswitchmania.com, and I couldn't hyperlink it. So it was it was like going and refreshing up to the top of the page. So I don't know why it was doing that every time I was clicking the hyperlink button, but that was the only thing I couldn't figure out. So the contributor section is going to be added to a little bit, but everything else is ready to rock and roll because a month and a half from now we launch.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and JP needs to get the writing, which is why there's a caption.
I saw that.
JP's section that says, "Tweet at JP, make him write," because you are behind the curve when it comes to this. Especially if you want to do what you're planning, which is cover everything. You need to get to writing.
Yeah, I have an idea for JP Switchmania site to free up my time, so I will make that happen because now it's time to devote to the book.
So my thoughts are, you're just going to do the text. I will do all the layout work, obviously.
Okay.
And just come up with what you want and ideas, and then I'll just conceptualize it. I would say do one first so you can see how long it takes you to do one section. And then after that, we will see. And I would say create a new document instead of going into mine. You were going into mine and putting it in there. That confused the hell out of me. Just do your own document and just do a running log of what you want to do. I would almost say you need to put down all your intents, like with like hyphens, bullets, or whatever, so you know what you need to do.
Yes.
I need to.
Yeah. This is my first time working on the book, and I want to do it right, and I want to make sure that it covers everything possible collector-wise.
I will tell you the goal: have everything written before we launch. That's the goal, because I don't like to have, because there's a million more things to do after the completion. I mean, there's a whole post-production that just takes a long time. And if you look at my timeline, right now, it's not going to be out till when, according to the timeline? Like March, April at the earliest. And that's with having everything done. I am way behind the power curve when it comes to writing because I had that April Fool's book, that the complete Virtual Boy, that snuck in there, and I had to write every Virtual Boy review. So I've been behind the power curve, but now the Switch Collector is my focus, and I've been writing at least 4 reviews a day. I need to up my game if we're going to get this done, because all the digital stuff, even in my list, all the digital stuff isn't in there from the newer, from 2018 to March. There's a lot of games still. And then we got to add Pankapoo, and then we got to do a live stream to go over everything a couple times and see if we missed anything. And here's the thing where the rabbit hole is going to go deep, JP. Recommendations from backers. So not only are there going to be contributors, but there's also going to be anybody who backs the Switch Collector is going to have the opportunity to give their top 3 or so digital-only games that they would like to see have a physical release. And if they're not covered, I'm going to cover it.
Oh my God.
And that's the thing, because I literally went down the entire digital list. We did post one thread a while ago in the Facebook group, and I took all those recommendations, and then I went through and looked at all those games and genres that I thought I would like. I then went through and seen which ones had the 3.5 stars or better, and then I went through them and played them. So that's where like games like Tumbleseed fit that bill. And so I already got the Tumbleseed write-up done because we played it.
Right.
And that's where even trolling I, as much as you're trolling me and you, it's going to give it a good write-up, though, in the book. And I've literally been writing too much for the one-pagers, by the way. That's the one thing that's funny is I got to write a concise 3 paragraphs, whereas it's like for a 2-pager, it's about 4 big paragraphs to 5 concise paragraphs, and then you got about 7 to 8 paragraphs for the 3 to 4 pagers. It's a lot of writing. It's easy though for the games that I know a lot about, but those that I don't know a lot about, it's gonna be tougher.
Right.
And then it'll be interesting to see like how far down the rabbit hole you go with yours. It may have to be 2 sections. It might be your Switch Collecting 101 section, and there might be a variants cover section, because that would be its own thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start jotting the ideas down, and then once I put some things to paper, then we can discuss how we want to separate or organize it.
And I already got to move some stuff around too, because I have the Foxicles after the digital onlys, and I feel like that needs to go before digital.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, so I mean, I got to move a few things around still, and there's only 2 Foxicles, so I would say that it definitely needs to be its own section, because that section is going to grow. And that's the other thing that we have to do, and the listeners are hearing too, is that we need to future-proof the book, so we can't go too far down the rabbit hole where we're beyond reprieve, and then there's no way in the hell we can do the next year. That being said, though, like, if this is popular, like, we plan on doing the next year, and if that's the next year is the campaign and it ends up being 2 books, it ends up being 2 books.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna.
Now, are you gonna have would you do a separate section for limited publishers then?
Oh, well,
or would you?
I would say a section on them, but
Okay.
I would say the games, if they're physical, it depends really. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to track down the dates, but
Right.
then again, the /R Switch Collectors thread, the share drive does have a date on them. So,
And we can always reach out to the publishers and just ask what they consider to be the release date, and just get it right from the source, because they all communicate with us that I don't think it's anything secretive. But to me, I'm just thinking, you enter year 2, and limited run games put out a lot of titles. For me as a collector, I would like to see that list together of their games, as opposed to maybe, I mean, this is in the future, but as opposed to maybe just seeing it in the section, here's limited run games, then here's a retail release, limited run games again, retail release. I would like to kind of just see, okay, in year 2, this was everything they did in order. And I mean, that's just my suggestion.
Well, I mean, because then there could be an argument too to have a section just for limited editions and special editions, and
That's
having
true,
a whole
too.
section for that, which would be a whole book could be dedicated to that.
You're right.
So I mean, there's that too. I think that because like in year 2, limited run games wouldn't be a complete limited run games because they're still year 3. It might be something where we can think about that when doing future pocket editions too.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
People
Nothing that we have to
requested-
decide tonight.
People requested pocket editions too, so it's something to think about. It's definitely a good, like, an idea, but I do like having, especially if we can nail down a date. If we can't nail down a release date and it's just a release window, then I would say we absolutely have to do a section for it, and it would be not a limited run game section. It would be a limited publisher section.
Right. Yes.
And
Yes,
that
there
might
are
be a
multiple.
good idea because there are 0 in year 1.
That's not true. Am I wrong to say that V Blank released in 2017, Retro City Rampage?
Yeah, but I thought that was available pretty widespread.
Well, that was only on their site, and they technically had 1 or 2 batches, and that was it.
Really?
There were some sold on Amazon. I don't think it was through V Blank. I think it may have just been like excess from a third-party seller, but Retro City Rampage was sold directly on their site.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think I bought mine on Amazon, so I wouldn't consider that necessarily traditional limited. But
I bought one on there because it had a different spine, I think, with or without the logo of V-Blank. And we could look back at your and see if it was sold directly by Amazon or not. But I mean, they are a limited publisher.
yeah,
They don't release that many games because he's working on them by himself essentially. But Retro City Rampage definitely was I think a limited release, limited publisher.
so it is something we would need to make a decision on soon.
Yes. And
But
you know what? We can always poll the community as well what their thinking is as we move along.
well, there is a definitive release date for Retro City Rampage. So
Yes.
that's the other thing. I would say that it's probably going to be pretty easy to get a release date, and it would probably make it a better get an article
Yeah.
as well to actually have it in the physical releases because it is
Mhm.
physically released.
Yes.
But something to think about. I mean, because the thing is, there's nothing that says that we can't do a subset in the back.
Right.
So, I mean, those things, like, we don't have, like, if you look on the campaign right now and you look at the stretch goals, there's a question mark on the bottom one, right?
Right.
So, I mean, there's stuff we could put in the back, like a collector's checklist.
Yes.
Or a
I like.
perforated checklist, or a insert of a checklist or something.
I do like that idea too. Even if it wasn't like with the games in the main section, like even in the back in year 2 and 3 with limited publishers, and then kind of just put them each in their own category. I think that would be good too. But it's going to be interesting because year 1 is like the easy year when you look at the Switch right now, and year 2 is where it gets really fun and crazy.
I mean, heck, I might even just do a NES or Super Nintendo manual or a Switch manual that is literally a quick checklist of all the games that you can just put in your pocket and take with you. And it'd be easy to do a NES manual.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I mean,
I want that.
That's
I
the
want
thing
that so
for
bad.
like for stretch goals. That's the thing. I already know how to do it. It could be big, but it would be easy. Staple bound, be too easy. I already know how to do that stuff, and if we did that, we just do a Switch collector Switch case.
Yes, I was literally, as you were talking, I was like, I really want a Switch collector case right now.
Yeah, so I mean that could be a stretch goal. Is that we do a Switch collector Switch stretch case. It would have to be a stretch goal that would probably cost a little money on top of it because there's going to be some cost for cases and slip cases.
Can we have a white bar at the top that says no download required?
No
my
download,
God.
no game included.
No game included. No, I think this is going to be a fun
put your
campaign.
Favorite game in here. Troll and I only. But yeah, no, it's gonna be fun, and that's the thing with the stretch goals is like we'll get creative, and if everybody makes this super popular, like we will go down the rabbit hole with creativity. I have lots of ideas for extra things I can add to the books that I've never added to a book that would just like make the quality go up tenfold. I mean, there's something that I didn't even realize I could do with the last book that's happening in the Complete Virtual Boy that I didn't even tell anybody about. Found out yesterday. Everything's going to be individually shrink wrapped, sealed by the plant.
Wow.
I didn't even know I could do that. And I'm like, oh, well, that just makes everything cooler. So every copy of the Switch Collector is going to be shrink wrapped.
Wow.
So already sealed. So you can have a sealed copy and a non-sealed copy.
Nice.
The one thing I didn't do either was do multi bundles, because I know some people get 2 of each of my books. That is a shipping thing because I'm subsidizing shipping, which means I'm covering shipping for those international ones on my side. I'm not going to be able to do double books at that price because it's the shipping will go up. So basically, people will have to contact me if they want multiple copies or if they want like a bulk, like they want a case of books or something, because some retro game stores buy it in bulk and get cases. Just have to hit me up and I will make that happen. It's too easy. Also looking into European distribution because that would help a lot if I had a European distributor.
Absolutely.
I know a couple before that have grown since the last time I've talked to them that I need to reach out to and see if they're willing to take on a small time publishing company.
I hope so. The Switch is region free. This book needs to be in every country.
Well, I mean, it's going to be. It's just going to cost me some extra money in shipping. So if I'm only charging $30 in shipping and it costs 50, I'm paying 20 out of the campaign costs per backer in those countries. So that's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. But I think it's really shaping up now once you actually see the campaign.
Oh yeah, I want to share this link so bad.
So I will say that we post this episode.
Okay.
And then after the episode is posted, I would say the next day or morning, like probably like tomorrow or at least Friday, you can start sharing. And
I can't wait.
Because the one thing is that you can never tell enough people about a upcoming campaign because it's the hardest thing to get the word out. But yeah, so the one thing is that like any magazines, podcasts, or websites that feature us, I would like to try to do a card on them. Not saying that it'll be each and every one because there's probably gonna be a limit to the amount of cards I want to do per volume.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a cool idea to start with, is all the individuals involved, those backer contributors, and then anybody who offers some kind of major story, some cool thing, you know what I mean? Like that's it. Like, so if somebody just talks about us on a YouTube channel, okay, but if somebody legitimately features us and somehow something cool happens, then that would be worthy of a historical significance type deal. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Like, it would just be something that would be like, it would be cool. And I know you said that at least one or two magazines may possibly be talking about it, and I know a couple others that are interested. So hopefully it's successful, because the hardest thing I've had with my books is that since I've become a publishing company, I've reduced the price of the book significantly. Because if those that backed my first complete NES know, it was $70 for a book. And that's how much it costs. It was expensive. Now it's going to be $40 for the Switch collector. And that's, significantly cheaper. And this is so, and it's $40, so I can literally do, if we get enough support, I can do really crazy stuff and not have to ask anybody for any extra money. It'll be perfect. It'll be perfect to support the project.
I want to make this happen.
Yeah, so it'll be super cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and it's gonna be super, super rad. And all the people I talked to at Classic Game Fest got me motivated about the Switch Collector even more. And in a week and a half, literally a week from actually a week from next Thursday, I will be flying to Phoenix, Arizona. And I'm going to Game On Expo, which is ran by Games for 81. And I'll be hanging out. There's a lot of buddies going there, from like Radical Reggie to the entire cast from the Pokemon cartoon. Voice of Bowser, Princess Peach, and Mario are going to be there. So I'm definitely going to take some trinkets to get signed. The voice of Zelda, I think, is going to be there too. So I'm gonna bring some cool stuff to chat with them about, and ask them about what they think about the Switch. I'm also going to try to get some sound bites for the Switchmania Playcast. So imagine if I get the Mario saying "Welcome to the Switchmania Playcast."
Yeah,
it's gonna happen because Charles Martin is awesome. So, and our buddy Tim Kitzrow is gonna be there.
Yes, we need that as well.
Tim Kitzrow is gonna be there. Daniel Pacina. Scorpion, Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat. And the thing that's awesome about Game On is the after party is a big thing. Like, there's a lot of people that go and hang out, because some conventions, it's like you go to the convention and everybody disperses. This one is a big community get together afterward. It's the previous years it's been at Cobra Arcade Bar. I'm not sure if they're doing that again this year. If they do, it's gonna be amazing. That was one thing that Classic Game Fest did last weekend, was it was at Pinballs, and there was a big pinball arcade, and there was an after party there, and it had the beginnings of an awesome thing when you can get more attendees to go, because it was a little bit of a travel to the place. Whereas at Game On, it's within a walk. So everybody just walks over there. Some people do a lot of drinking and stumble back. Super fun. That's the one thing about being downtown Phoenix. So a lot of conventions are doing this after party deal, and it's super fun, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm doing a talk on the Nintendo Switch with Nerdy Nick. So we're doing a panel. We're in the dead spot, which is the very first panel of Friday. So a lot of attendees will probably still be in work, unfortunately, but we will record it. So we'll do it as an alternate episode, like we've done developer interviews. We'll do like a panel interview. I did not record the panel with Brett Wise, but Brett Wise did record our panel last week, and it was more of a interview piece between two authors and me on the publisher side, going over our experiences in the retro gaming scene. So it was a really cool, we had lots of questions. It was a packed house. There was over 100 people at our panel. It was insane. Nice. Yeah, it was awesome. So
over 100.
Yeah, like way more than we had at MGC, where we were back in the back alley, hidden away where nobody knew where to find us. This one was in the middle of the hall, like a middle of the convention hall. Like, it was awesome, and like tons of people were there asking great questions. I even had some other authors come to me and talk about book publishing too, and I do publish other people and not just video game books. So it is super awesome and humbling always to talk with everybody. And I always say, if one person enjoys what I'm doing, I'm going to do it forever. And even like with this Playcast, it's like outpour of support.
I'm happy about that. Yeah, you never know how well it's going to resonate with just people listening and or wanting to know about the Switch or collect the Switch. And I'm very happy when we get feedback, good or bad. Feedback is always appreciated, because this show is going to continue to evolve, and we want to make sure that we're covering content that people want to hear. We say that every week, but it's so true. It's if we're not talking about something that you think we should be, let us know. If you like what we're talking about, let us know. I mean, the show is for anyone that's interested in the Switch and collecting.
Yeah, and I definitely uploaded just the palatable review on my YouTube channel. So I haven't actually checked the views because I don't do that too much. But yeah, I mean, I have about the same amount of views than when I upload the full one. So it's not much of a difference. But I figure we're just giving people another option. If I'm not getting a whole lot of views, though, when it comes to the game ones, I may not do the editing every week because I do have conventions and stuff to go to. And I need to get this Switch Collector done. So the editing of an episode to video would take away some time. Unfortunately. But let us know more feedback. If you say, hey, I love just the game talk side. Talking about the game only on YouTube. Cool. How were you on views on uploading the entire episode on JP Switchmania?
So my phone, I think, is a little bit off. I had 66 views on my phone. Going into the episode right now, hopefully the volume it is on. We have 86 views, 6 likes.
Nice.
No comments, so come on, people. You got to comment. Let us know what you're thinking about the episodes. I only uploaded episode 12, which was the State of Mind. So that was last week's. My goal is to put all of the past episodes on the channel as well, so we'll get those on eventually.
And I'm still going to... I'm either just going to send JP the video, or I'm going to upload it and delist it, because I did that last week where I delisted it and let JP get it. But either way, though, like, I'm not going to be posting the full ones on mine because I'm not trying to grow a YouTube channel more so, whereas JP is. So I
may be trying to grow it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I'll be happy to say we just passed 2,000 subscribers. We're at 2,033. So thank you. Whether you've joined because of our many contests or you like the content, we hope you stay, especially now with the Switchmania Playcasts coming onto the channel each week. I think it's more than enough reason to stay. Make sure you follow so you get notified. Just going to be a great time.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, it's interesting because, like you said, you have how many subscribers?
We just passed 2,000.
I am at like like hardly any. I've never done steady video reviews though or anything because I don't have the time. I've always focused on being an author, so that's where it was funny talking on that panel. And like the initial thing Brett was gonna ask me is, how is it being a YouTuber? And I'm like, well, I've had a channel for 10 years, but it's never been a focus. I've had videos where they have like 20,000 views, but but the thing is that I don't do it consistently enough to gain followers, and I don't have like a series that's really caught on. I've done a few different series that I like doing,
Right.
but then when you don't get any views, it's like, well, I'll just keep playing video games. Whereas the podcast, we get tons of views, and like I have had a lot better luck and more feedback and more passion, and it's easier for editing purposes to do audio only RSS feed, which is what the Switchmania Playcast does. I think it's perfect, and if we could do a video side, which is why I record it as a video, and JP can grow his, that's why I was like, hey JP, load it on yours, man.
Yep.
I think it'll be a lot cooler, and if that gets you a couple extra interesting people over on your channel, then boom, they can see some more of your reviews too.
Yay.
So what contests you got going on right now?
Right, so we just ended one, so I won't go into that because that one's over, but one that's ending today, August 1st at midnight, is the Unikeep giveaway.
Nice.
So I partnered with Unikeep, and you might know them as the Switch cartridge carrying cases that they made that hold 30 or 60 cartridges, but they also cover other systems as well. So it's not just Switch. They have PS4, Xbox, disk base, and more. But I partnered with them because they do these amazing Switch cases, and they actually do really cool covers that look like the Joy-Cons with the console. On their website, you can do custom covers. So my goal is at some point to do a JP Switchmania, possibly even a Switch collector. I think would be awesome. So we partnered with them, and I also partnered with my good friend Destiny FOMO. Check her out, where we have a few prizes. The first prize is you win a brand new Nintendo Switch system. No joke, you win it. You get a Unikeep case, and you get a copy of Tiny Troopers, brand new US edition. The 4 second place winners will each get a Unikeep 60 cartridge case, and then inside will either be 1 Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or 3 Tiny Troopers. So you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting the new Pokemon Let's Go game, or you're going to get Tiny Troopers. But either way, I think they're great giveaways. But that's not all. The other giveaway I'm running that ends on August 2nd, I partner with HitSense, a great publisher, and they help bring a game called Duke of Defense to the Nintendo Switch. So what we're doing is we have 3 prizes, or 3 place winners. You win a digital code of Duke of Defense for the Nintendo Switch, and you win an actual cassette tape of the soundtrack, which I think is really cool. So it's got that retro vibe. So what's coming out next? Well, you are the first to hear about this because we're not launching it until Thursday, Friday. We are going to be, I don't have a name for it yet, so it's working title giveaway, but we're going to have three prizes. The first prize is Fire Emblem, the 3 Houses Seasons of Warfare Collector's Edition, US Edition, brand new, and a $100 eShop gift card. So that's the first prize. Yeah. Second and third place will each get a $100 eShop gift card. So I think it's going to be a great giveaway. We actually have another one planned the week after. So you know what? I'm not even going to share it on Twitter. I'm going to share it right here so you get a heads up. I partnered with Limited Run Games. So we're going to be doing... Yeah, we're doing a giveaway. And you know what? I'm actually going to tell you what the prizes are right now. I'm going to grab the box.
Uh-oh. See, so that's the thing. It pays to listen to the end, people.
Oh, yeah. You think it lulls at the end? This is where it revs up right before we finish.
That's right.
So, aside from the first place winner getting you guessed it, a brand new Nintendo Switch system, I kid you not, we are going to be giving away a Nintendo Switch carrying case from Limited Run Games. So it has their logo and the red design on it.
Very nice.
And you're going to get a gold sticker of Limited Run Games. You're going to get a card of Iconoclast, and you're going to get the collector edition of Iconoclast.
Wow.
Second
That's the
place,
Super Nintendo box, right?
the Super Nintendo box. Oh yeah,
That's one of my favorites on display in my collection.
yeah. I did it. So if you don't know what this one is, check out my YouTube channel where I did an unboxing of this. But it's literally a Super Nintendo box with the game and all the goodies inside, and it fits inside a Super Nintendo protector,
Yes,
which
it
I think,
does.
which is awesome. So what does second place get? Well, they get a silver limited run game sticker. They get a card of Shantae, and they get the regular edition of
Shantae,
Shantae.
you mean Shantae?
Shantae, sorry.
Shantae.
Shantae. So how do you pronounce it?
Shantae.
Shantae?
Not Shantae.
Oh boy, it's one of those names.
Shantae. It's not Mario. It's Shantae and Mario.
It is late, folks. So anyway, you get a
late.
copy of the regular edition of Shantae, Shantae, and the Pirate's Curse from Limited Run Games. So two
Amazing
great
game.
prizes, two great, lots of great contests coming up. And we've got even more planned because in September, the Nintendo Switch Lite comes out, and we're going to be giving those away.
Oh, yeah.
So there's going to be literally contests going on every week. It pays you to follow JP Switchmania on Twitter. That's where we host all the contests.
Yep.
That's where you get all the information. But it's Switchmania Playcast where you're going to learn first about all those giveaways.
Heads up. And on the Switch Lite, my daughter changed her mind from the turquoise one.
What'd you go with?
She now wants the pink and blue controller buttons for the
Pokemon?
For the Pokemon one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I figured as much because the right side has the pink buttons.
Who doesn't want the Pokemon one?
I mean, the thing is that I think that one's really stylistic and looking. And as soon as they do a Zelda one, I'm gonna be a sucker and have to triple dip because I'm a nerd.
Well, you saw what they have for pre-order now overseas. Besides the Dragon Quest console with the custom Joy-Con dock and console, now they have the Disney Tsum Tsum one.
And
which
it's gonna continue down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I mean, I just pre-ordered mine today. I did it through Play Asia because Amazon Japan still isn't allowing it to ship overseas. But that's the one that I'm giving Shanna. It comes out on her birthday. So she's getting that one. And I just love that the home button has the Mickey Mouse ears. I mean, those little touches to me, it's just like, okay, it's a cute one. And I want it. So, and it's another console to add to the collection and to the upcoming Switch books in the year.
Exactly.
In the years to come.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I think it's time to wrap things up. We're over an hour, 2.5 hours now. I was gonna say hour and a half, but I was like
hour and a half. I wish.
Yeah, we're trying, people. We're trying. We're long-winded. So, anyways, as always, you can find me at HagensAlley.com. I also changed my handle on Instagram from the Subcon 3. It's now Hagen's Alley Books. Hagen's Alley Books, because they didn't have Hagen's Alley, so it's Hagen's Alley Books on there. And I'm Hagen's Alley everywhere else on social media. On HagensAlley.com, all my newest books are up there, what's available, and I have the bookstore there too as well. And you are at least jpswitchmania.com. I know that. I
am jpswitchmania.com. We have reviews, weekly release posts of all the games coming out that support English and those games that you can enjoy without English. Every week, every Sunday, I post it on the website, on Twitter. So if you don't want to miss a release, definitely subscribe to the website and follow that post because I will make sure you know about all the retail releases, all the limited releases, all those cool variants. All that stuff is going to be in those posts.
And as I mentioned, Witchcraft as well, right?
And Witchcraft.
JP's Witchmania.
Yes, magically, your wallet will feel lighter after following that post.
Correct. After you go to his website, your wallet gets lighter magically. It happens.
On Twitter, it's JP Switchmania. I do daily posts of everything Switch physical related and some digital content as well.
Likely while we're chatting on this, he's posting on that.
I've been pretty good. I think I only posted one thing, so I'm getting better. On YouTube, it's JP Switchmania. We do unboxings of collector editions, and now we're going to be hosting the Switchmania Playcast episodes on here as well.
Which is awesome.
Then on Instagram, it's JP Switchmania. We pretty much just I post pictures of the new games that come out. And if you like the original Game Boy, I've started a new collection of going for an original complete in-box run of the US releases, and I'll be posting all that on the Instagram channel. So if you like retro,
Did I crush your soul when I said Mega Man 4 is like 1600?
yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, it's an M, not too bad. But then A has the oh my god, Amazing Spud and Amazing Tater, all those games.
You're tracking what happened in the Nintendo collector community that's going to adversely affect your collected, right?
Yeah.
It's basically that Nintendo Age was bought by a comic book collector. So it opened up the Heritage auction site, which is the auction site for high-end collectibles, to Nintendo, Game Boy, Super Nintendo. So everything is going to skyrocket in price when it comes to sealed, which is going to trickle down to CIB.
Yeah.
Cart only may not see a ton, but yeah, things are about to get a little crazy. Like, people think like prices are going to go down. No, they're going up, people. And you know, I would say that the Switch, when it comes to the limited stuff, is going to see something similar.
I believe it. And I gotta say, it's very hard to find complete in-box for Game Boy. I mean, a lot of people do not sell the box. I've been tracking Addams Family Pugsley Scavenger Hunt for about 3 weeks now. I've been following this one guy who has a, pretty good good rated box, but it has some dings and whatnot. But aside from that guy and a sealed one for $300, nobody else on eBay is selling a complete box one. And I'm just tempted to pull the trigger on the used one just to get it before I miss out. But yeah, I'm starting to see that, and I'm wondering, did I make the right choice?
You want to know what my mentality is behind collecting?
Yes.
Boxes have patina. There are box protectors, which you're going to have anyways, right? And
yes, I do.
It will give the perfect shape to the boxes. So if it is used, like my Mega Man 2 NES box is like missing part of the side. As long as the front is able to be displayed, or the side that you display with your collection, like if you display it like in your collection, it's all sideways. Right. As long as whatever you display is intact and the front, because the front has the artwork, I will buy it. And it doesn't matter if it has a little bit of dings, a little bit of character, as long as that's intact, because it's part of the story. The history of that said box has had a history.
That's true.
I've also gotten to the point now where I don't take off stickers if they're on the back. Mm-hmm. So if they're not on the label and they're on the back, it shows like an old video game store that's out of business. That's history too. So like one of I had a Neo Geo game, and on the back it says McVans, which was an old Indiana game store that's gone now. And so that's a history. It was sold at McVans. Like, that's cool to me. So that's the other thing too. So you might be able to just pull the trigger on that one that's cheap right now, and then you put it in a box protector. It looks pristine. That's just it. And obviously, if you're able to find for the same price a better quality, but if there's just nothing out there, I mean, it might be.
Well, my problem is I said one a month. I've gotten like 26 in 1 month already.
So
and
you got a year to wait, or 2.
I've got like 2 years already.
Yeah, so wait till 2021 when all the prices skyrocket. Or if you go above that one a month, you just have to go super cheap.
That's true.
Like under $5 CIB.
See, now as we're talking, I'm opening it up and I'm like, do I pull the trigger? It's in my cart. Do I just click?
How much is it?
So it's from Canada. It's converts to $70.
That's pretty expensive.
I know.
That is up to you. That is up to you.
You know what? It wouldn't be so bad. It's only 50. I mean, it's 55 for the game, but it's like 15 shipping.
You said how many a month? 1 a month? Wait till next month.
If it's still there.
It's tomorrow.
Well,
that's tomorrow, JP.
Oh, you're bad.
Like, for me, it's already next month for you. Like, for me, it's like 1 minute. I'm like, all right, now pull the trigger. We're almost at midnight, people. Anyways, let's wrap this up.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you. Thank you for staying.
Thank you for staying, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.